Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Welcome in on a Friday morning, a Football Friday, and we are going to give you a lot of football. As a matter of fact, we're going to start with BYU's quarterback, Bachmeier. How will he respond to the first loss of his college career? How will the team respond to the first loss of the season? Do they bounce back with a strong performance? If they play well at home, late night game, they'll beat TCU. If they don't play well, if they have a flat spot, if they make mistakes, turn the ball over, take penalties, TCU will get them. TCU's good. This isn't West Virginia or Oklahoma State, UCF coming in here. This is a pretty good team. Not as good as BYU. I'm a little surprised the point spread is as close as it is. I thought maybe it should be, 7, something like that. But that doesn't really matter. It just matters that BYU wins the game. So how will Bachmeier bounce back after dropping the first game of the year? Here's the quarterback with the media.
Let's start out with your health. How did you come out of the Texas Tech game? I know you took some pretty good shots.
Yeah, came out healthy and feeling good.
What did you learn from that game that maybe you haven't learned in the previous 7?
Yeah, we just, when you play great teams, for example, Texas Tech, and we get ourselves in a hole, and sometimes you can't dig yourself out of that hole against great teams, and so we just got to start faster.
Aaron said you were hard on yourself and kind of, I'm not sure if he used the term blamed yourself, but you were hard on yourself. Why was that? Did you just feel like you didn't play well, or what?
I mean, you always want to compete, and you hate losing, and so you're always gonna look back, and you shouldn't harp on it forever, but you look at the negatives early on, and you kind of get emotional, and then you turn that into gratitude and just being grateful for the moment. But we got to bounce back.
Your older brother Hank had a similar start to his college career, really hot start, and then suffer a loss. Did he have any advice for you after the game of how to rebound from a loss after an initial hot start like you've had? Yeah, I mean, he's the true test of a man and a football team is how you bounce back from adversity, and so he's kind of just been telling me that, and I mean, he's got some great experience with that, and I mean, we just got to bounce back and obviously learn from it and grow.
Doesn't sound like the loss nicked your confidence or any of your offensive teammates.
No, you learn and grow, and I mean we've earned the right to play with confidence and swagger, and so when we step in between lines, we carry that confidence.
The next game is always the most important game, right? But is that mantra tested, especially coming off of a loss like last week, to kind of come out and prove that that's not who you guys normally are?
Of course, yeah. You never. You always just want to bounce back and again play with confidence and swagger, and so it's what we got to do on Saturday.
How important, Bear, is it coming out with urgency? It seems like that's been kind of a theme for Kalani this week, just the urgency of this team and starting strong.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a big emphasis, and you always want to start the game off fast, the game off strong. So it's been harped on.
Aaron said the noise was a factor there. That your communication was a little bit spotty. Why was that, or as opposed to another game on the road, say like at Arizona or East Carolina?
Yeah, it was just a lot of environment and a lot of noise and hindered some some actions.
When you won this starting quarterback job back in fall camp, A-Rod noted that you knew the playbook pretty much when you got the job. Has he added more to that throughout the season, to that playbook, into where you're throwing in more stuff each and every week? Yeah, I mean, you always add in more naturally as the season goes on, and then obviously scheming up for certain defenses, you're obviously going to implement some new plays, and so I mean, it's been a great process, and we just got to keep going.
You've mentioned bouncing back a couple times. Execution-wise, what does that look like for this team, whether it's on the field or mentality-wise? Yeah, I mean,
it was kind of, that game was kind of an anomaly of what we are. I mean, I felt like we've done a great job of executing and just being who we are, and for whatever reason, kind of just, I don't know. I don't want to say we shied away. We just weren't playing our game, and so be back home at less, and just got to play BYU football.
As far as looking at what TCU's defense brings, are they similar to any defense that you guys have faced so far?
Yeah, I mean, you know, a little bit of Iowa State in there, but I mean, it's a very intricate defense, and Coach Avila does a great job of scheming up, and so we got to come ready to play.
How much are you looking forward to just being back at home and being in a crowd where they're on your side instead of being on the road? You guys have been on the road for a lot.
Yeah, it's going to be great to be in front of Les and the Rock and Cougar Nation.
Because of your ties with Boise State, do you know Andy Avalos?
Yeah. Yeah, I got a cool story. He was at Merida Valley one time, and he was the DC at Boise, and yeah, I was eating the hamburger, and he said that hamburger looks good, and so that was funny to me. But yeah, but yeah, and he coached Hank as well, so yeah.
Any other questions for
JoJo being out with injury for almost 2 months, how hard is it to rebuild the chemistry that you guys developed throughout fall camp and game week, and just trying to prepare for an opponent at the same time?
I mean, you have that natural chemistry with the guys, and especially JoJo, who's just a great athlete and knows his job. It hasn't been hard, and he's fitting in just right.
All right, there is Bear Bachmeier. Now, it's a test for him and for the offense. Obviously, they really struggled against the Texas Tech defense. The good news for them is they played Texas Tech and they played Utah, and those are the two best defenses they're going to face all year. No doubt about it. Now, meanwhile, for the BYU defense, well, this is going to be difficult. TCU's got a good offense. TCU's got a good quarterback. TCU can score points in bunches, and you don't want to get in a track meet with these guys. So how do you get off the field and get some field position back for your offense and help them take the lead so you can dictate the game a little bit? Here's Jay Hill with the media.
It's been a few days since the Texas Tech game. Was there anything that a further film review showed that maybe you didn't know right as the game ended?
No, not really. We got to play better. We got to, there were a couple opportunities to make interceptions that we didn't do. There were a couple opportunities to get out of some third downs where we just weren't quite clean enough. Bottom line, give Texas Tech tons of credit. I thought they played very well. We needed to step up to the occasion a little better.
What's the outlook for Justin Kirkland? We saw he got removed from the depth chart. What's the outlook for him?
Well, where he played his 4 games, we just felt like with 3 left, it probably makes sense to keep his year, and he still has a red shirt, and we can bring him back for next year.
Just to follow up on that, can players this year, again, play in the championships or playoffs and still maintain that red shirt?
Yes, the way I have it understood, yes. Yeah.
So how much of a conversation was there with other players beyond Kirkland on saying, do we redshirt them or do we not?
A lot. With those guys who played in that 2, 3, 4 games, there's a lot of consideration that goes into, is it worth burning your red shirt with 3 games left? You have to take that into consideration with some of these guys. Some guys are going to go and some guys are going to redshirt still.
Are there any players that haven't played yet that you will want to use here in the last 3 games?
That haven't played yet? Good question. Probably not that haven't played yet, but there's some that haven't played much that are starting to go way more, like Jonathan Cabella. Some of those guys are playing more and more. Nusi, Tamoipeau is playing more, so yeah, those guys.
In Nusi, we saw him at Sam listening to depth chart this week. What's the latest on Ephraim? He got removed.
He's with his hand injury. He's probably one of those guys that we can push towards that red shirt deal.
What's the initial scout on TCU's offense?
Very talented. The quarterback's one of the best we've played in the last 3 years. He throws it well. He ripped us 2 years ago down there and played one of his best games of his career. It's a typical TCU offense. I mean, they have speed, they have talent on the outside. The running backs have been productive, so a lot of good, a lot of things that we're going to have to gear up for to stop, obviously.
How would you describe maybe just kind of the intensity of practice this week coming back from adversity after a loss?
Well, yesterday I think that they came out, I don't want to say feeling their way through on defense, but just a little hurt from the game, I think is the best way to describe it. And then today I thought they were on fire. That was the best Wednesday practice we've had maybe since I've been here. So I think they'll respond well.
Looking at TCU's quarterback quarterback who has made a lot of turnover-worthy plays so far this season. How do you want to see your defense capitalize on that?
Oh, just that. I think we got to play really precise in our coverage. We got to get some pressure in his face. Hopefully do some things to disguise our coverages to where he's not just standing back in the pocket knowing exactly what we're doing. We need to try to confuse him as much as possible.
You guys are in the same position this year as you were last year, controlling your destiny. Is there any lessons from last season that you can touch on or take upon down the stretch here for this season?
Well, I sure hope so. You know, we got to come out, and last year we let Kansas beat us twice, and we responded slowly to Arizona State. This year, obviously, we can't let Texas Tech beat us twice, and we got to come, play precise. This isn't going to require a perfect game, but we got to come out and play well. We got to play together. We're going to have to play hard and do what we need to do to just make plays, be prepared, all those things. And again, I sense that our guys will be ready to go this week.
There's BYU defensive coordinator Jay Hill. All right, it's Football Friday, and we've got more football ahead. Coming up, Barry Tramel and Riley Jensen, both on the way. Stay with us. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. DJ, PK, and Barry Tramel joins us once again to talk all things Big 12 football. Barry Tramel, of course, covering the league for decades, sports columnist for the Tulsa World. Barry, welcome back to the show.
Well, how you guys doing in Salt Lake? I hear you got into heated debate.
And you're here for heated debates. Let's get into it, Barry. What'd you hear and what do you think?
Oh, well. I didn't get the subject matter or even the what the parameters were. But
he told him he was late because we were in a heated debate. We were talking about
coaching. We're
talking about
proven commodities,
slam dunks. Yeah, Franklin gets fired.
Dunks.
So
now slam dunks is a good one.
Yeah,
the Barry Tramel seal of approval.
I can think of two. Mm-hmm. One of them coached in the fine city of Salt Lake for quite a while, or for a little while.
Urban Meyer.
That's the only two. Him and Saban are the only two I can think of.
That's what we said. Yeah. That was my point, is they fired James Franklin, and who are they going to get that is a lock to be better? We're talking about, okay, we understand Florida State, we understand Florida, and some of these other guys, places that have been fired. But Franklin, it just seems like it's a roulette wheel, and wherever the little ball stops, if that's your name, then you get the job.
Yeah. The answer is they're not getting anybody that's a sure thing. They're not getting anybody that's going to be a home run. What we got, I don't know if we've talked about this, but what we've got a cult going on. The cult of coaches. Just the belief that one guy can save us. And it's really not a football thing. It's really not a sports thing. It's not even an American society thing. It's worldwide, and it's been around forever. This idea that we got to pay this guy $15 million because he's the only guy that can save us.
Right.
That's just madness. I've been telling people forever. We got way more good coaches in America than we do good football jobs. So why are you paying them so much money? There's a guy down the street just as good who you can pay, 3/4 of that for, and go buy yourself some linebackers and wide receivers that'll make a difference on Saturday.
Especially now, yeah.
I'm really waiting for that to take hold, and that doesn't seem to be taking hold.
So the players make more than the coach?
All these guys. Well, it's pro sports. That's what happens in pro sports.
Yeah, I know.
If college is pro sports, when do we get to that? Because that seems obvious, but that's not the way we're going. There's at least, we were just reading a story that set us off on this. I saw a story that 4 coaches now have leveraged the Penn State vacancy to get extensions. Maybe they were serious candidates, maybe they weren't, but the schools were scared enough they gave them more years and more money.
Well, and you know what? And they're scared that coaches are going to leave, and some of these administrators think it'll alienate their fan base and whatnot. I remember, what year was it? I was in Kansas City. I can remember my hotel room in Kansas City. I think it must have been 2002, maybe 2002. It's Bob Stoops' fourth year, and he'd won a title in his second year, got close to making the championship game in his third year, had another great year in his fourth year, and the Florida job, I think it was, came open again. And, of course, he came from Florida. Everybody was always worried he's going to leave. And Bob really didn't do anything wrong. I mean, he never, as far as I know, he never really leveraged in any kind of meaningful way what we're seeing today. But hot and heavy story. Bob Stoops is going to go to Florida or might go to Florida. And I wrote a column that said, listen, we all love Bob Stoops. He's done great, blah, blah, blah. But if he goes, he goes. If he wants to go to Florida, you got to let him go and tell the entire nation, hey, Oklahoma football is bigger than Bob Stoops. And this is, right on the cusp of the Big 12 championship game. And anytime you write something like that, of course, half the state just goes into a tizzy because you're affecting the psyche of the young lads in the shoulder pads. And you can't believe the positive response I got from that.
Oh, yeah?
All kinds of people emailed me that night, the next morning, saying, that's exactly right. This is crazy. If he wants to go, let him go. We love him, but if he wants to go, I think some of this is false alarm on the part of administrators. On this, just we got to keep this coach. We got to have that coach.
Okay.
The cult of coaching is a lot of it emanates from the university itself.
How about half the ADs have the sweetest job they're ever going to have, and if they make a misstep on a coach, they're not going to get to hire another coach, and that's where the panic comes from. And not only ADs, but presidents.
Yeah, you could be. That could be right. That could be part of it. No doubt about it. We've seen. We only lost one AD this season. Woodward down at LSU. Is he the only guy that's been fired and sent out the door with the coach? Can't remember. But it's just nuts, and it's not that way in the NFL. It's not that way. Every once in a while, somebody like Belichick stays forever, and, then you have fiefdoms and kingdoms and, Game of Thrones stuff going on. But otherwise, hey, pal, we're paying you a lot of money, win football games, or the next guy's going to get the chance to.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it works.
I would say that of the slam dunks, I went to Kalen DeBoer because he's 121-17 or something like that. That is a phenomenal, and he's won at the NAIA level. He won in the Mountain West with Washington and now Alabama. He was at Fresno State in the Mountain West, and that guy doesn't seem to fall down. That bad year, that time he went 9-3 at Fresno State, that was terrible.
Well, and that's a good point. And if you're going to extend the line that far, we might need to go to Kurt Signetti. It's my understanding that he wins a lot. You can Google it up.
Yep.
So it's interesting because Signetti and DeBoer are from the family of. Yeah, he hasn't coached at big time places, but he's won everywhere he goes.
Would you put Willie Fritz? Would you put Willie Fritz in that group?
He's not quite as high, but I would put him in that group because he has done a great job. To me, it goes back to the MAC. In fact, I was sitting down thinking about writing about this today. I was going to tell OSU to go shopping at the MAC store for a coach because all kinds of people have turned their programs around and had long, great runs because they went and hired a MAC coach, Gary Pinkel at Missouri, Matt Campbell at Iowa State. This guy hadn't won big, but P.J. Fleck at Minnesota has been their best coach since Murray Warmath or somebody. And then was somebody else? Urban at Utah.
Urban Meyer and Rick Majerus, both hired by Chris Hill, so you can call Chris Hill and get a quote on that.
And then there's one more. There's one more. Lance Leipold at Kansas, Miracle Man. However, it's looking like all the candidates are coming from the American Conference this year. You got 5 prime candidates, not counting the coaches at Army and Navy who really don't fit anywhere. So But anyway, I think rather than going after somebody that's won big at, like Lincoln at Oklahoma going to USC, Brian Kelly at Notre Dame going to LSU. In the MAC, it's egalitarian. Everybody's living the same life. You got the same resources. Akron and Kent State maybe a little bit less than anybody, but everybody else is on the same plane. And you got the same opportunity, and it's almost like the video game. Everybody's got the same console. And the best coaches win. And that seems to me to be a pretty good plan to go, a good place to go and have a plan, is go someplace where the coach is proven. To quote Bum Phillips, talking about Don Shula, he said, when he said he can take urine and he can take hisn and beat urine, or he can take urine and beat hisn. So getting a guy that can just flat coach doesn't seem like a terrible idea.
We have a high school coach in our community. His record is 110 wins and 9 losses. Is that pretty good?
Well, it seems pretty good. I'd have to know the particulars. Let me ask you guys, Utah high school football, are the final scores, I don't care, forget the win, who's winning and whatnot, just looking at the scores, are they totally out of control?
In what way?
In terms of, we have a bunch of 69-7 games at the high level.
They can be
like
lopsided.
in the highest levels.
We have open enrollment, so if you're at one public school, you can go to another. And so that leads, especially, we have 6 classes, and in the biggest class especially, you see the best players congregating at a handful of programs. And over time, that's changed, but that's been an ongoing story for the 30 years that PK and I have worked here. Different schools, it was Skyline, it was Bingham, it's Corner Canyon, it's Sky Ridge, Lone Peak, whatever. It's different schools, but that's when you get to the smaller classes like 4A and 5A, I think you see a little less of that, and you see some better games and more competition and more drama.
Well, we don't have 30 years of free agency, but we're coming up on 10 or so. And it's just getting bad, and I mean, we got pretty good team. We got the best team in the state. They're beating people 72-3.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty good teams, and so I don't know. It's not the kind of athletic competition that interests me.
You got to know Mike Leach well, didn't you?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Well, this guy is 110 and 9. He's a disciple of Mike Leach because Mike, he went to BYU. His family all lives in town still, and so he used to come back in the summers when he was at Tech because his high school buddy was a high school coach, and the coach who's 110 and 9 was the offensive coordinator, and so Mike would teach these guys the offensive philosophies that he had. And now at the time he was a young man, now he's in his 40s, learned at the foot of Mike Leach, and then has gone on and has won 110 games and has only lost 9. My wife taught at this school for many years, so I know the guy really well. And then Jackson Dart and what's the kid? Zach Wilson, they were there. His quarterbacks, just to give you a reference point. So the philosophies of Mike Leach, and obviously he died way too young, still lives on in high school football in Utah. Interesting story.
Let me ask you guys. I hadn't really thought about this, and I haven't studied it, but when Leach came around and went to Tech in 2000, my memory is that he did a whole lot of fourth down, not punting. 4th and 3 from zone 38. He went for it quite a bit. Is he the father of the newfangled analytics of don't punt unless you really have to?
Yeah, I think you can make that argument. I certainly can't throw out anybody else.
No, I can't either.
Right.
I hadn't even thought of that. I always thought that was the best way to go. Because here's, if I'm watching a football game where I have a vested interest, I want one team to win. And the other team has the ball at midfield, let's say third quarter, close game. It's not a pivotal point in the game. 4th and 3 at midfield. The other team has the ball. What do you want that team to do? You want them to go for it or punt?
Well, the new phrase these days is complementary football, so what's the level of your defense? If you have zero confidence in your defense, you ought to go for it. But if you think your punter's decent and your defense is decent, you can get the ball back at the 50 with a new set of downs in 3 minutes.
Yeah, well, that's true. But if I'm playing defense right there, I want them to punt.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no question.
You want them to punt. Give me the ball.
Yeah. I agree.
So why would a team, unless you're just not any good on offense, why would you punt? The other team wants you. Why were you doing what the other team wants? I think a lot of the new analytics is not numbers based as much as just common sense. We finally figured out we don't have to act like the masses. We don't have to do what everybody else does.
Right.
We can sort of think for ourselves.
I like that, but I think the bigger question, and we had it here with Utah and BYU, is you've got 4th and 3 on the 28-yard line. Do you go for a field goal or do you go for the first down? And the Utes went for first downs, and they didn't get them. And theoretically, you don't know what's going to happen, but theoretically they left points out on the field, and then they lose by 3. And then the next week they come back, and Kyle Whittingham is basically taunting us in the crowd. You think you know more than analytics? You don't. And as the thing is winding up, they give you 15. You get 2 minutes on Tuesday to talk to them, and you get 15 minutes on Monday, and then you get about 7 to 10 minutes after the game. That's pretty much the way it is in terms of how they've regulated his accessibility to the media. And I guess he does a coach's show. I don't listen to it. But anyway, he does that. And so as that thing is winding up on Monday, if any of you want to go check the analytics, come with me right now. And that's about as, what's the word? Fiery or confrontational maybe is
combative.
A better word. Combative. That he gets these days. He'll be 66 a week from today, I think. So he's got it made in the shade. Obviously, he's not going to get fired. But he was willing to die on that hill that analytics says you go for it. And they didn't get it multiple times, and then they ended up leaving points potentially. A field goal could have been blocked, returned for a touchdown. Who knows?
Missed.
But it could obviously have been missed. But that was his. I think that's the bigger issue. What do you do in that situation as opposed to that? Yeah, go for it at midfield. But when you have an opportunity to have a realistic field goal to put points on the board, what do you do then?
Yeah, it's a better argument in the NFL. Be a better debate because part of it is assured. You're going to make the field goal. You know, if you got a kicker that can't make a 46-yard field goal, then next week you'll have a different kicker who can.
Right.
So, but in college it does get a little squirrely. You know, I went to a football game 2 weeks ago where a team kicked 110, 160, 201 yards worth of field goals. 4 field goals, 40, 51, 55, 55.
Nice.
And they won the game by, 6 points. So if you got a kicker, it's a wonderful weapon. I don't blame sometimes getting the points. But I enjoy the modern football because it's not automatic. Because people aren't just saying, well, we're going to punt. 4th down, we're on the minus side of the field, we got to punt.
I agree.
I think it's fun to we've gotten a crust out of coaches' eyes, and they're starting to do different things, and I like that.
Barry, we got to run. We appreciate it as always, and we will talk to you again next week.
All right, guys. See you later.
There is Barry Tramel. All right, a reminder, join Jake and Ben Tuesday from 10 to noon at Belliston Jewelry in Ogden, 1155 36th Street. Belliston Jewelry, locally made, just for you, cherished for generations. When we come back, Riley Jensen talking football. Stay with us. DJ PK, we're joined now by Riley Jensen, our college football Insider. Riley, good morning.
My dudes, what's happening?
Well, I don't want to talk to you as College Football Insider. I want to talk to you as an NFL fan now. Switch hats.
Awesome.
You've watched a lot of NFL football over the years, and we all know in these division things that sometimes teams split, right? There are sweeps, and bad teams get swept and all that, but sometimes there's splits. Do you think if Utah or BYU gets a second shot at Texas Tech, that either one of them or both could split? Maybe it won't come to that. Maybe neither of them get a second shot at it. But if they do, could they pull that off? Or from what you've seen in these first two games, is Texas Tech going to go to that title game and win that title game regardless of who they play?
I feel I totally get what you're saying, and it happens from time to time in high school football as well, where you end up playing a team twice. It happens in Little League football all the time. It is very difficult to beat a team twice unless you're pretty dominant. And that's where I'm going with this. I would love to see BYU or Utah get another shot at them because I think it would be much closer. But I for some reason I just feel like Texas Tech's too good. Like I feel like they'll win that game. But man, if there was any possible way for Utah or BYU to get into that game, it's going to be closer. And it's going to come down to a couple possession game, and Texas Tech is going to have to make those plays. Now, Texas Tech has been in a game where there's a lot of pressure on them. You know, later in the game against Arizona State, they weren't able to pull it off. And so, what you really want to do with Texas Tech is you want to see if you can get ahead of them and see how they react to that. Because I think they've been pretty dominant when they've been ahead. But when they're in a game and they give a team confidence, that's the only time that they've really struggled all year. But that's a really good football team, a really good football team. And not because I'm looking at their skill positions and going, wow, this is just – it's because of up front. It's because of their O-line and their D-line. Those guys they win so many battles.
Yeah, no question about that. Obviously, the Cougars on offense didn't get the job done, and it was by far their worst effort. And they got the freshman quarterback and all. And I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to key in on the word that I'm going to use, and the word I'm going to use is rattled. Did you see Bear and Bachmeier at all be rattled? Obviously, they didn't play well, but I think there's a difference between not playing well and being rattled.
So I don't know if the exact word is rattled. He saw some things that he's never seen before.
Right. Because I don't think he was rattled.
I don't think he was rattled. I think my look at him on the sideline and some of the different things that were going on was, ooh, this is different, and I need to learn. Like, I felt like he went immediately into learning mode. And I kind of like that about him. And look, there's not a tougher kid, and I think this was more what I was expecting against other teams, not just the best team that they were going to play against. And there were some things in this game that were they were just different looks. And some of the things that, you know, I could go into on the nuanced different looks, I mean, they would have been hard for me as a senior, some of the looks that Texas Tech was throwing. Now, I'm not trying to compare myself to Bear. Bear's a much better quarterback than me. But even as a senior quarterback at Utah State, there were some looks where I thought, oh, yeah, that's open down the sideline, and then the corner kind of sinks. They call it sinking into the coverage. And he was really good at kind of disguising whether he was going to be in the flat or be down the sideline. And so sometimes you're looking at it as a fan going, geez, that guy's wide open underneath. Why didn't he just throw that? And I'm like, well, in real time, when you have 1.2 seconds to actually like make that decision, that felt like the right read to me when I'd see it on the replay. And yeah, it looks like the dump down's wide open, but they had some interesting looks. I think Bear will learn from that. I think it's going to make him a better quarterback. I think that even with this game, you can't watch Bear Bachmeier and not be somewhat enthused about the future. Yes. Were there some mistakes made? Yes. Was it not the greatest statistical game? Yes. Did they do a good job of keeping him in the pocket and not letting him like turn it into a backyard football game? and just run around and make plays with his feet? Yes. And that's what good teams are going to try to do to him. Unfortunately, for a lot of defenses in the future, they're not just going to be able to do what Texas Tech did. Texas Tech is really good. They're really good.
I thought from the very first play, and I don't know if A-Rod, if it was designed that way because A-Rod expected the pressure to come from Bear's blind side, or if Bear thought he saw something, so he kind of rolled right to buy himself a little more time. But on that first play, the drop back, the roll, and you see the pressure coming from the left side, it's like they're just going to be hard to block all game long. And all these coaches will tell you it's about blocking and tackling. Like Texas Tech makes that incredibly apparent. And to roll the quarterback away from obvious pressure on the first play, it's like everybody knows what this is about, and everybody knows what you have to do to beat it if you can. I didn't think he was rattled. I thought they just didn't have answers.
Yeah, I think – and look, there was even Chase Roberts, like, I really like his leadership. He blamed a really, really tough fade throw on himself because he was like, look, if I can touch it, I can catch it. I believe that wholeheartedly as a receiver. And one of the things that BYU's been able to do with Parker Kingston and Chase Roberts is they've been able to come up with some – I really feel like wide receivers in football are like dunkers in basketball. And when you get an amazing dunk or when you get an amazing offensive play that's an alley-oop or something like that in basketball, like it can change the momentum of a game. And I think more what Chase Roberts was trying to say is, man, I make that play early in the game and there's some momentum that changes around and it just changes the mindset. And they weren't able to make that play against Texas Tech. And I think that's an interesting thought, that if a couple of those plays that bounced off fingertips or where they were going over the middle and they just weren't able to convert some of those catches, I'd like to see what happened. I still am not predicting a win for BYU because, man, in the two games that I've watched Texas Tech closely, against University of Utah and against BYU, I'm just like, man, this is a good football team. But I want to see, Dampier or Bear Bachmeier or Chase Roberts or some of these guys make some plays against them and see if they can't get some momentum going their way and see if dumping the pressure a little bit on Texas Tech doesn't change the game a little bit. But there were some plays to be had. None of them were easy. And that's what great teams do. They don't make any of the great plays that you make easy. They're going to make you work for everything you get.
How about Utah, man? 13th in the college football poll, the playoff poll. That's a lot of respect for that team. Wouldn't you agree?
I do. I think it last week when I talked to you guys, I was real high about them making the playoff. And you guys kind of like brought me down to earth. And like the more I've been thinking about it, I mean, it's a real tall tale to get there, just like you guys were saying. But golly, wouldn't it be fun to see BYU finish out the season undefeated, Utah finish the season undefeated, and just put a lot of pressure on these selection committees to pick two Utah teams to be in the college football playoff? I mean, I think that would be a riot. I know you guys would love it because it's good for business, but I like it just as a follower of high school football and Utah football players and these programs for so long. It's really fun and exciting to me. I've worked with and I get to be around a lot of players on both sides of the ball, so I don't find myself like particularly attached to outcomes as I am attached to players that I love to watch and see them succeed. And so it's just fun, and I get to know their parents through some of the things that I do, and it's just fun to see these Utah kids succeed and play well.
Well, Saturday morning, 10 a.m., with all our teams are playing later in the day, you can watch Notre Dame and Pitt, because if Notre Dame beats Pitt, that's a playoff berth locked up, and the odds of BYU or Utah getting in go down. I mean, there's other paths, but that's an obvious one for Pitt to beat Notre Dame, and I think the Irish are in if they win that game because they play bad teams after that.
Right. That's kind of the linchpin that I've been talking about, where I've been telling people, like, you got to root for Notre Dame to lose. especially if you're a Utah fan. You do not want Notre Dame to finish the season. And you're right, the only chance is kind of this game.
And Riley, I need your help personally again this week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go.
Oh, boy. Buckle up, as Bowler would say.
How much do I get paid for this?
Not enough.
You chose this profession. You have just a professional duty to help people. It's not about the money. You didn't get in it for the money. You're not that kind of person.
I like it when you get a little bit vulnerable and ask for help. It's not your MO, you know? Like, you're not usually reaching out like this. I love
it. So I'm on 114th South, and I'm going west, right?
Yeah.
And there's a car in front of me is in the lane right at State Street, not in the left-hand turn lane, in the lane in which you're going to go down underneath the freeway and continue west. And all of a sudden, the car just stops because it wants to get in the left-hand turn lane. And I literally had to slam on the brakes. The stuff goes flying. The dog practically comes in the front seat. I lay down the horn hard, and I got
because you're from New Jersey.
I got all upset.
No. Nope. I've been criticizing my family because I'll use the horn too, and I'm not from Jersey.
And I yelled, but fortunately, no digits were separated in the vertical position, so I didn't do that. But is there a better way I could have handled that moment? Can you teach me something? Because I lost it briefly, and then I think, is that really the human being I want to be?
Well, okay, so there's a big difference between emotions and reactions, and then your response. So I'm much more worried about your second thought or your second reaction than I am your first. Because your first is pretty natural. Your second seems to be really, really good right now because you're trying to be a better person. You're trying to figure out how you can do better in those situations, and that's all we can ask. In the military, they have a phrase that says, "Embrace the suck, don't stay in the suck." So you gave suck a big hug.
Man, I live in the suck. I don't embrace it.
I know you do, but what I'm saying is sometimes you got to give it a time limit and just say, okay, I got mad there for a second. Time to move on and be the person I want to be. And give yourself a little bit of grace. I mean, dude, we all love you. We love you, and we like to be around you. So, things are going to happen, and we all – look, one of the things that's really hard about my job is if I overreact at a Little League basketball game or something like that, I got everybody going, oh, I thought you were a sports psychologist. Oh, I thought you had it all figured out. I thought you're perfect, So
okay, Jesus.
right? And sometimes, in my job, I feel like that marriage and family counselor that's divorced, sometimes I have
oh wow.
I have a lot of really good answers. I haven't quite mastered it yet either. So give yourself a little bit of grace. Love yourself. And move forward and just try and do better next time. You're doing great, man. I mean, dude, just the fact that you had this conversation on air is just a beautiful thing to me. Just beautiful.
Even in his prime, Tiger Woods didn't hit every green. Even in his prime.
Right.
All right, last thing before we let you go. You have an interesting theory. You would advocate a bold coaching hire. Would you care to advocate for it on the air?
Ooh. Yeah.
You just said you're all about the people and you're less about the teams. You just told us that. And there's a person you're very intrigued by and you think it would go very well.
Well, I think there's two, actually.
Oh,
I think there's
okay.
two bold hires, and I work at Weber State, and I think that these guys at least deserve an interview. I think that Ed Larson, who recently retired from Lehigh, and Eric Kerr should be interviewed for the job at Weber State. And the reason why I think that is because both of these guys have been head coaches. Obviously, Eric Kerr, I mean, his record and everything speaks for itself. Ed Larson had 3 state championships in the last 10 years, but has also coached 7 college All-Americans. Every single quarterback he's ever coached in high school has been All-State. He's even had an Elite 11 quarterback. And these guys know how to coach. And so, to me, I think they both merit an interview because I think it would be good, number one, for Weber State to get a pulse for how things are going, just in the high school ranks, how people are feeling about Weber State. Both of those guys understand the Ron McBride and Lavelle Edwards theory of using returned missionaries, Polynesian athletes, and out-of-state athletes that both Kalani and Kyle have replicated so well, and Jay Hill replicated it at Weber State. And I think those are important conversations to have. Do you go all the way and hire them? Maybe, if you like them enough in the interview, but I think they both merit an interview. And so that's where I'm at. These guys are great guys. I know them really well. I know their presence with their players. I know how much their players love them. And I just think it would be, I put myself in Tim Crompton's in his seat, and it's a hard decision because Weber State does have a proud history, and it does have, a history of putting guys in the NFL now, and there's been some good hires there. But at the same time, if you're really trying to make the best call, you sometimes have to put the pressure on the outside and say, what is really the best decision for Weber State? And I think that would be hard for me because I'm terrible at that. I buckle to peer pressure all the time. So I don't envy these ADs sometimes when they have to make a tough decision.
Riley, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Take care, guys.
There's Riley Jensen. A reminder, nominate the youth sports volunteer that you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week. Submit your nomination at kslsports.com/contest and listen every Thursday afternoon to JJ and Alex for the winner. Help us celebrate the efforts of those volunteers making an impact with the Hercules Hero of the Week, sponsored by Hercules First Federal Credit Union and Beehive Meals.
It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know. News update. This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag Utah Jazz.
You're always in a help situation.
Kyle drives the left side to the window, kicks to the corner. It's Bailey. It's for three. It's good. Ace Bailey's got 18 points. 119-112. Lowry, left wing three. That's who's supposed to make threes. That's the guy that's supposed to rip the court from the left side. The one-hand pass to Keontae, who steps behind the three-point line for an off-the-bounce three, and he hit. 1-point game. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. This is electric. This is fabulous. One-hand pass to the wing to Okongwu. Driving on Markin, twirls back, tries to go up and under, and does. 32 for Onyeka Okongwu.
Onyeka Okongwu, this is fabulous. This is also another loss, so that makes it fabulous. The Jazz go down in a slugfest. I thought I was watching Cal Raleigh up at bat. How did he not get the MVP?
Hey, hold on.
Oh, boy, man, the offense was on full display. The Jazz giving up 42 points in the first quarter. It got better, not by a whole lot, but it got better. But they lost. The Hawks without Trae Young. I didn't even recognize these guys. Who are these guys on the Atlanta Hawks as they move to 8-5, surging 6-2 on the road? Oh, well, bright spots, marketing, scores. We're going to have Locke on as we usually do on Friday. I can recall several years ago, we were talking about guys put up stats on losing teams. What does it really matter? And we can ask him about that because marketing is sure putting up stats. And so is my guy, the Gondola. Get on board. I'll carry you to the top. Ace Bailey. Yeah. 4 of 7 from 3. Sweet. And 32 minutes. That's what I want to see. Now his plus-minus sucked. It was minus 18 if you're into that stuff. I'm not going to put it all on Ace Bailey as to why his plus-minus was bad. I don't know. I'm not a big plus-minus guy. I'm a big final score guy. But the Jazz go down. And how do you say that guy's name? Sivi Mikhailuk?
Svi Mikhailuk.
He and I had the exact amount of points.
Yeah, he had a tough night.
0 in his 25 minutes. But he was only a -4, so I guess he's, 14 points better than the Gondola, Ace Bailey?
If you go by plus minus, yes.
Which I ain't going by. So the Jazz get beat, which is good news for the Lotterie, and they fall to 4-8, and they're back at it Sunday, 5 o'clock for the pregame, 6 o'clock for the tip-off across the street at the Delta Center. All right.
Stay tuned later on in the show. We're giving away tickets to that game.
Tickets? All right. We got tickets later on. Please listen. Oh, I need you to listen so badly.
Hey, we'll incentivize you. We got you.
Yeah. And maybe DJ will be there and just ask him what's up. Away you go. We'll see. The Jazz back in action Sunday against the Chicago Bulls. All right, let's move on to the NBA.
Hashtag NBA.
Well, only a couple of games outside of the Jazz. The Suns, man, are they on to something? They beat the Pacers. Pacers only 1-11. Jeez.
Yeah, and well, I don't know if you saw this. Aaron Nesmith now is down with an injury for Indiana. They're
gonna get.
They're depleted.
They need Rick Mount and Don Boozy, some of the old time Pacer guys.
Jermaine O'Neal, can you play? Reggie, no more TNT stuff. Come over here.
Yeah.
Oh no,
man,
what's Reggie doing? It's not TNT anymore, obviously.
Lose by 35 on the road. They're 0-7. We know that they were here at the Delta Center a couple of nights ago and got beat. And the Suns, 8-5. Good for them. 6-1 at home. And Raptors beat the Cavaliers. Donovan Mitchell, 31 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. What was his shooting? How many shots did he jack up? 7 of 18. Oh, wow. Getting to the free throw line 17 times. Man, those superstars always get the call. But his plus-minus was negative 18. Second worst on the team. No, tied for worst with Evan Mobley. Plus-minus, man. There you go on that. And, Steph, he's done. He's done with Under Armour. Are they to protect this house, people?
That would be them.
Well, didn't he do that? Didn't they say they were going to bring some low income out by his home out there, and he didn't want that?
Oh, he protected his house.
All for power to people. What, you going to put him in my neighborhood? No.
He protected, yes. He protected his hood. There's no doubt. No, he's had this relationship for well over a decade, PK.
2013.
Yeah, so kind of crazy to see it coming to an end. But
isn't he building his own brand?
Yes, he has been doing a little bit of that, but the question is he going to partner with, let's say, a Nike or somebody else to continue to build that at some point?
No. Do like the Pac-12 and go out on your own. We see how well
that works. Just branch out? Okay, yeah, got it.
So that's the NBA, and there'll be a bunch of games tonight, won't there be? For sure there'll be. I'm going to tell you, what are some of the games you may want to watch? We constantly tell you what happened. Did the Jazz win? We'll show you tonight. No, brother. That's long ago. Not a whole lot of good games going on. The Warriors and the Spurs. Now, the Warriors just beat the Spurs, and now they're back at it again. We shall see.
And it's an NBA Cup night if you're...
the fancy courts. Yeah.
Or in the case of Minnesota, the ugly courts, according to certain head coaches.
So if we're going to check out the cup, would that be a cup check?
It's a cup check, yes.
Not Mitch.
It's a
Did you ever have a cup check in high school?
Yeah.
I played baseball. I had them. But I was so confident. I don't need no stinking cup. All right, that's your NBA. Let's move on to the sport of... What do we got next? We got college basketball.
Hashtag college basketball.
Okay, we got a bunch of games. Now the big game is tomorrow. We got the Cougars. They're playing UConn.
In a bit of controversy, though.
5 o'clock on Fox. Same time as Utah kicking off football in Waco, Texas. Now, obviously, Kennard Davis Jr. was arrested on suspicion an alleged DUI. That's the story that came out last night. And I think about what to say. You can go with the cheap shots and all. BYU, you're so different. No, you're not. Blah, blah, blah. And then you can have fun with that if you want. I've always thought they should tone down that rhetoric and just let it speak for itself. If you're different, you don't need to tell me you're different. I'll notice it myself. But they get new people in there and they get excited about it, so they want to tell you about it, and good for them. But at the same time, people are people, and that's people are going to make mistakes. Now, this kid, I don't know what happened, and I'm going to go on right now to wait until all the facts come out. It was before noon, and on the way to be able to fly over there I assume they go into Boston and we'll practice today and get ready. It'll be
Correct.
a fun game. I'll be looking forward to watching the game, flipping back and forth between the Utah game. I'll probably have my computer on so I can watch the football game and also watch the basketball game. This is not Delaware or Holy Cross. Obviously, it's UConn, which has won a couple of titles here in recent years under Dan Hurley. And Dan Hurley's fun to watch himself because he's my Jersey guy. Ready to blow a gasket at any time, as Jersey people tend to do. I can speak to that. Made millions of mistakes myself. So I'm going to hold off judgment on any of this stuff and let it play out and see what happens, because there's going to be any number of things that it could be involved in, and I don't know. And I'm not going to speculate and say he's guilty of this or that. They'll go ahead and do the thing, and then BYU will act accordingly, and then we'll go from there, right? That's about the best I can do. So reserving, not that I would have judgment either way. It's not my role to be judging these people. It's my role to give opinions on it. I guess maybe that's a kind of a blurred line there. But I'm going to wait. Not going to say anything as far as he's this, he's that. The program is this or that. Kevin Young, obviously they're majority of their roster is not of the LDS persuasion. Not that an LDS kid couldn't make the same type of mistake, if in fact this is a mistake, or any mistake for that matter. We'll see how that plays out. It is on ESPN now. A lot of people don't like BYU to get that type of publicity, and there's plenty of people on the other red side who like BYU to get that type of publicity.
Oh, yeah.
And
social media has been...
Yeah, social media. Social media sucks. I can't say anything more. A bunch of anonymous people popping off. But Myron Metcalf has a story that was posted this morning. That's 6 o'clock our time, 6 a.m. And starter, Kennard Davis Jr., starter for BYU, top 10 squad this season, was arrested, blah, 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 on suspicion of DUI following the crash in Provo.
The full police report is supposed to come out as early as today. So
yeah.
to your point, PK, withholding opinion, judgment, whatever it is, until that full report comes out is probably prudent.
Yeah, and I'm not, I use the phrase dancing on grave, and that's a metaphor. It's not literal, obviously, but if it's true, whatever, I'm not going to sit here and celebrate. I didn't when it happened to Max Hall, so I'm certainly not going to do it here, nor would I do it to any young man, or young woman, no matter where they are in that regard. So let's see what happens, and then go from there. Bunch of other games, too. Utah State hosting UTEP at 2 o'clock. Scotty G at 1:30 with the coverage on the call. Is he going to get down to the football game then?
I'm thinking about that. There's no way that's going to happen.
So maybe he's not doing the basketball, he's doing the football?
It's got to be somebody else doing basketball, yeah.
Let's see. UConn's ranked number 3. Southern Utah at Omaha, 6 p.m. Utah, Sam Houston, 7 p.m. UVU at Fresno, and Weber at Irvine. And Utah Tech is out in the islands. Man, they played, the 2 Arizona schools. Now they're going to Hawaii. The Judd's brother,
John. John Judd.
Jeez.
Yeah, they played Manhattan 2 nights ago. They actually, and I didn't put this on there. I missed it in the initial. They actually played tonight. It's part of, they call it the Rainbow Classic.
Oh,
out there
so
in the
it's
islands.
A tournament.
It's a tournament. So they play tonight and tomorrow night. I think also Saturday.
Man, that's a heavy schedule for those guys. All right, let's move on to the NFL.
Hashtag NFL.
First and goal to go from the 7 once again. Henderson scored from this spot on New England's last drive. Double tight ends left. West over the fullback. Henry motions right. May hands it to Henderson. Cuts it left. Runs it to the left side. Into the end zone. That's 2 for Travion Henderson. And the Patriots take the lead. Snap to May. Looks to his left. He pumps. He throws. Floats it in the end zone. Touchdown, Patriots. And who caught it? Travion Henderson. A hat trick for the rookie.
Henderson with the hat trick on the touchdowns. Good for him. Drake May, 25 of 34. Drake May, man, coming into his own. You gotta love that. See this young man develop as the Patriots move to 9-2. They may just well win the AFC East.
Pretty darn good.
Yeah, wow. Vrabel, runaway coach of the year. I don't think there's any question about that, right? That's about as easy as it comes.
Find somebody else who's outdone their expectations like they have.
Yeah, wow. Nothing comes to mind, obviously. Let's see. Bills, they're 6-3. They're behind, man. They got the Bucks at home. 2 6-3 teams. Now, that is one of the morning games, so see what happens there. Both those teams can usually win. The Bears deserve some consideration, too. They're 6-3. And that's a step. That's a step in the right direction. Faux show, I would think you would say, as far as that. And then in the afternoon, you got a big NFC West showdown between 2 7-2 teams, the Seahawks and the Rams. Now that is at the future home of the UCLA Bruins, SoFi. So the Rams are hosting that game, and we'll see what happens there. That's going to be a big game. Chiefs and Broncos, the Broncos are 8-2, and the Chiefs are already 2 games behind. So look forward to watching that game, too, Sunday afternoon. See what they got there. If the Chiefs want to get in, I don't think they can fall to 5-5. Certainly if they want any form of winning the division, they can't do that. And then we got a nice nighttime game, the Lions and the Eagles, 6-3 Lions, 7-2 Eagles. We'll have our locks of the day. None of us, we're like the BYU Cougars. We're no longer undefeated. Yak won the first of the double crown. Who could stay undefeated the longest among the 3 of us? And the Yakster, the kid of the group, who's not a kid anymore. It's just that we're old. But, compared to us, I guess. And so he stayed out. I was gone after like 5 weeks. I finished second. And you were gone after like 9, 10?
Made it to 10.
All right. And then we're going to still total up the locks and see who has the most locks at the end of the season. And, of course, obviously, Yak would be in the lead on that. But there is still time to catch them. That is your NFL.
Hashtag Utah.
I think it was a nice show of respect for our program from the committee to rank us where we were ranked. But again, we got to take things 1 week at a time, and that's exactly what we're doing this week. And not to not have a better answer for you, but that's just how we're handling it.
When Kyle retires, he's going to say, I'm taking it 3 weeks at a time. Coaches do that when they retire? No, they go down to Baylor. And they got 5 o'clock, ESPN2. Now, I think they win, obviously. Baylor's AD is in a bunch of hot water.
Mac Rhodes stepping aside, personal leave.
And our guy, Mark Harlan, is taking the place. Now, the funny thing is that Tuesday, I went and looked and see some of the people who were on the committee. And I don't know if I pulled up an old one or what, but Harlan's picture was on there on Tuesday.
That was probably from the 2023 when he served the 1 year.
I know. I thought I put in 2025.
Yeah.
So maybe they've known for a few days.
He was a really natural fit because he has the experience of already being on it. There's no having to train him on that. And it obviously is going to have certain fan bases, a blue fan base that's going to be wary of it.
I'm sure Harlan will do a fine job. I have zero doubt on that. Yeah, he's been around the block. I find him to be an engaging guy. I enjoy my conversations with Mark, and we like to tease each other about where we went to school and all that. So others may have different opinions, but that's my opinion. All right, let's move on to the Ags.
Hashtag Utah State.
Aggies looking to break through on the road. They have not done that yet, and they go to Vegas. UNLV 7-2. Dan Mullen, former quarterback coach way back when for Urban Meyer at Utah. Now, Vegas is still trying to stay in the hunt. They're 3-2 in league, and so are the Aggies. So this is a huge game. Aggies want to get to bowl eligibility. That's the first check off for these guys, and particularly where they were from last year. That would be another great rebuilding job in year one with Bronco Mendenhall, just like he did 20 years ago with the Cougars. So that is at 5 o'clock. So 5 o'clock, man, it's 5 o'clock everywhere tomorrow.
Yeah, let's just put it this way. Your evening is going to be very busy.
Yeah, for sure. CBS Sports, 5 o'clock. So we got 3 games. We got 2 football games, Utah and USU, and then BYU basketball, all at 5 o'clock. My thumb and index finger may be bleeding by 8 o'clock.
Wearing out the remote control.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I may have to go with the phone on that. So I'm going to have 1 computer, 1 television, and phone.
It's going to be a multi-screen.
Yeah, because I got to pay attention to all of those 3 games there. All right, and the Cougars, they're up next.
Hashtag BYU.
TCU is very good in their own right. Very impressed with them, and Coach Avalos is a very good defensive coordinator. So we have our hands full, but we do have a good offense. We have a good identity, and we just want to get back to it. We just need to execute better.
That's Aaron Roderick, offensive coordinator. The Cougars look to get back on track, obviously. That is a late nighter, 8:15 kickoff, which probably means 8:25, unless they throw it on another network. So looking forward to that. That's on regular ESPN. TCU, I know they got beat last week. That was a very disappointing loss for them, for sure, at home to Iowa State. And what can they do? They've had a bunch of leads there. They led the Devils by 17, and the Devils came back to win that game. I think they were up double digits on Arizona. Just spoke about Iowa State. I still think they're dangerous. Any given game, they're dangerous. BYU is going to have to play well to win. And they need this win, man. They absolutely. Maybe they can get in the conference title game with 2 losses, and they got Cincinnati next week, but no way they get in with 3. So looking forward. I am so looking forward to tomorrow. Sports all day long, and mostly football, but we got 1 basketball game. And we got college football, obviously. Let's get to that.
Hashtag college football.
College football, a couple games tonight, if you're interested. Minnesota's at Oregon at 7 o'clock, and then Clemson at Louisville. We'll see about that with obviously Big Ten and ACC. Tomorrow, big game in the morning, right at 10 o'clock. You've got Notre Dame at Pittsburgh. That could have playoff berth implications, faux show. So I'll be flicking around on that one. Cincinnati. You got Arizona. Arizona's being an upstart. They're bowl eligible after bombing last year. That game is also at 10 a.m. So that's one with the Cougars and the Utes, for that matter, battling with Cincinnati. I mean, Cincinnati's still ahead of Utah. So would you want BYU to win? Because then you'd have the tiebreaker over Cincinnati. But, oh, my gosh, rooting for the Cougars? No way. Who could do that? So we'll see about that. The Devils hosting West Virginia at 11 o'clock in the morning. So I got some big games. And then at 1:30, you got some huge games, too. Oklahoma at Alabama. Looking forward to that one. UCF at Tech. I don't think that's going to be UCF having a chance to win. Iowa goes out to USC. Now, USC tomorrow, that's 1:30. It never rains in Southern California, but tomorrow it's supposed to be raining.
Yep.
And that'll be interesting because it hardly ever rains there. And I've covered 1 million games in the Coliseum over the years. And I'm trying to think of rain games, particularly in the day. I can't recall any. And I worked down there in newspapers for about 10 years. And this is supposed to be lousy weather, and it's obviously moving east here. It's going to be impacting our area. Time to put the golf clubs up. News in college college football. Let's see. Arkansas AD, it was a Yurachek. He will replace Hunter Yurachek, who will play Rhodes as the Champions Rhodes for the Baylor ones. A step down. I don't know what's going to happen there. And so the Arkansas AD will replace him as the chairman of the College Football Committee, and then he'll be speaking to the media the rest of the season when they do their rankings on Tuesday night. And Colorado Buffalo's AD, Rick George, he'll step down in July and move into an advisory role. So that'll be interesting. Does he not want to fire Coach Prime? What's going to happen there? Because they're having a lousy season. I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. Oh, and another big game that I didn't say was Texas at Georgia. That's at 5:30 between Texas, obviously 10th, and Georgia 5th. The implications on that. This is the great time of year for college football, so we're right down to the end. All right, baseball's over, but we got some awards to hand out.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
Oh, my gosh. Your guy, Cal Raleigh, did not get it. Aaron Judge got the MVP, and Yak was outraged. He could not believe it, man.
Stupid Yankees.
I think he's going to New York and going to be presenting a sign in front of the MLB offices, unfair labor practices.
The shame on New York Yankees, like MLB. Get a big old sign and stick right outside the headquarters.
Yeah, I was torn. I would have been fine either way. I'm fence sitting on this one. So Judge gets it, second straight, and to the surprise of no one, the Shohei Ohtani Award went to Shohei Ohtani. Yes, he unanimously, what's that, 4 times?
Yeah, first 4-time unanimous MVP. Yeah. 3 straight, 4 in the last 5. He's
multiple leagues.
Yeah.
Both leagues, not multiple, but both
AL
leagues.
And NL, yeah.
Yeah, so what will he do in 2026? We shall see. And what will the Mammoth do? Let's go there.
Hashtag NHL.
I think, just how much belief there is in each other. Never giving up. We know how good we can be offensively. We know when we're trailing, we can easily come back. So I think just that belief in each other in here.
That's JJ Peterka. We've got our own JJ. You can hear him from 3 to 6. And the Mammoth got their JJ Peterka, who was acquired off-season. Now they play tonight at the Delta Center. 7 o'clock against the Islanders. The Islanders are 9-6. So they're right in the Metro division there. They're right in the middle. So this is a decent team. This will be a good win. And the puck drop, as I said, 7 p.m. Coverage here on the KSL Sports Zone will begin at 6 p.m. with Hockey Night in Utah. Friday night hockey, man. How cool is that to be able to see in our see for that matter? I was going to say and see, I guess, in our town here as they're in their second year. All right, What is Trending is brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There is no job that is too big or is too small. You can get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Of that, I can promise you. 8:30, we got Locke, radio guy for the Jazz, and then at 9:05, the Squeakster, Kevin Graham. Good morning, Kevin. How you doing back east? Look forward to talking to you in an hour and a half. Always look forward. Now, we talked about Utah Jazz tickets, and we were giving away a 4-pack to the Chicago Bulls. That is Sunday. Okay, we got college football to get to, a whole bunch of stuff, BYU hoop. Stay with us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's game week for the Cougars, and the KSL Sports Zone is getting you ready for kickoff. Even after their first loss of the season, the Cougars' dream of a spot in the Big 12 title game is still alive and well as they welcome TCU to Provo on Saturday. Listen all week long for the best coverage of Cougar football. Then catch College Football Saturday game day at 10 a.m. with the postgame show immediately following the game on KSLSports.com. Your home for the best coverage of BYU football is live on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It is time on a Football Friday to ask the question that we all care about. Don't we expect BYU and Utah to beat these two teams from Texas on Saturday?
I'd bet your life on it.
Yeah, thanks for that. I feel like I'd have a good chance of being here Monday, but I'm not real positive. Because while they ought to win, this isn't, we're not talking laughers here.
Oh,
these are teams firmly in the middle of the Big 12.
Okay, but Utah has played teams in this in the higher category and smoked them.
Yep, that's true.
Every time they win, it's a blowout. So I could see it. I can see them winning 31-10.
Have they blown out a good team on the road? All the blowouts I'm thinking of were at home. And West Virginia was a blowout, but that's a bad team.
It was bad at the time. They've gotten better.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
But, I mean, that's their fault. That's not Utah's fault.
No, I get it. But this would be if they win in a blowout, this would be, here's a weird category, this would be their best blowout road win of the year.
Yeah.
Or maybe you just say it's the best blowout of the year because it's a pretty good team on the road.
Yeah, I think Cincinnati is. I think they win comfortably. I see no reason not to go along those lines. My mindset is that they win comfortably.
They're going to run it. They're going to run it some more, and then they're going to run it some more after that, and there isn't much Baylor's going to do about it.
Yeah, that's not a big intriguing point for me.
It isn't.
I'm looking to see what Sawyer Robertson and that offense can do against the defense. You know, they took Sorsby and just locked him up. They didn't get an opportunity to play Levitt, and they did okay against BYU, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they lost that game. Analytics apparently lost that game.
Yeah,
I guess you could say.
Fourth quarters, just talking because that analytics is more an issue of the offense and choosing to go with the offense instead of the special teams.
Yes.
Defensively, they gave up 24 to BYU, and 14 of those came in the fourth quarter with the game on the line. And they gave up 21 to Texas Tech in the fourth quarter when it had been a close game, and that 21 took it away. So, to your point, they've locked up most teams they've faced, and even the two games they lost, they were stellar for three quarters, and then in the fourth quarter, the other offense did enough. Even the 34 against Texas Tech in college football, that's not an outrageous number. Certainly not a good number for a defense, but when teams are averaging 28 to 30 points, 34 is not outrageous.
It is not. But I expect them to win comfortably.
So then, as you bet my life on this, the Utes being a 9.5-point favorite on the road at Baylor, that's at 5 o'clock, so I'm still alive at 8. But where my life might be at risk would be at 8:15 when BYU hosts TCU.
Well, this is a must-win, obviously. They can possibly get into the title game with 2 losses and things break their way, but there's no way they're getting in with 3. And then if they lose tomorrow, then you would make the assumption that they would lose
you
in
Cincinnati.
To Cincinnati,
right?
And that's not a good setup for you. So, last year it was sort of not that they were fat and happy, but they overachieved expectation. And you can argue that they've overachieved expectation this year. But given the fact that they started 9-0 last year and then lose the last couple of 2 of the last 3 there, with Kansas and the Devils, left a little bit of a sour taste. And here, the guys like Chase Roberts, we're going to finish this. There's a lot of vowing going on that we've learned from that and all that stuff. And so, yeah, fine. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt until I see otherwise. The Texas Tech loss was not unsurprising. It was non-competitive, which I think was more surprising than not. So with that in mind here, this is a must bounce-back game. You can right the ship. The opportunity is there. I don't think you'll beat Tech the second time, but just get there and then surprise us all, and that'd be great. I would love to see it. I'd be the first one to say I was wrong on that. And things can change if there's injuries between now and then. But as we sit here this morning, you've got to win this game, and the idea is to get to the conference final. If you get to the conference final with only 1 loss, I don't even care if you got beat 80-0. If you go 11-1, that's a really good season. I mean, come on. There's no other way you can spin it. I mean, you can argue, well, Texas Tech, game days there, biggest home game they've had since that Texas game, was that 08, 09 or something. Mm-hmm. The crowd is going berserk and everything. Mahomes is in the stands. I mean, it's sort of things conspired against you, and they jumped on you, and you didn't play well. So maybe you can understand it to a degree.
Yeah, but 11-1's super rare. There's 136 college football teams, and right now there's 10 teams that have a chance to do that, and they won't all do it. So if you get there, you're one of a small handful of teams that pulls that off.
And you will have accomplished something that you didn't accomplish last year. So that's advancement. That's improvement. And you're doing it with a youngster who we figure will be back. You never know with the transfer thing, but the future in the immediacy would be extremely high for next year and all that stuff. And Texas Tech is losing a bunch of guys. They've got a great recruiting class, but they brought in a ton of guys that were one-and-dones this year, and the quarterback would be gone and all that stuff. So it would really look bright for next year being in the mix to be one of the favorites, if not the favorite for sure. We'll see how that plays out. But you got to get this thing. I'm getting way ahead of myself. You got to get this home game. You lost that home game to Kansas last year. That's what did you in, not going down to Tempe and losing to a team that was hot, who was on like a 7-game winning streak. That's no big deal.
The ASU game is comparable to the Tech game. So this game is like the Kansas game, and you can't have what happened against Kansas happen at home here.
And I don't care if it's a fluke hit kid on the helmet and whatever. You just can't be in that situation. You didn't score enough points, obviously, and you threw an interception there at the end of the first half. Fetching analytics. They just would have said, don't throw that lob in the end zone at the end of the first half. Maybe something good could have happened. But you got to get this game, and they all know this. There's nothing. And they're just, some of those coaches listen to us in the morning, but they know it full well. They know it burns 1,000 times brighter for them than it does for me. And so I suspect that they'll be fine. But I got to see it because I thought they would have beat Kansas. The ASU game was a toss-up, and you lost by, 4 points? Whoop-de-doo. That happens. There's going to be a winner and a loser. I was actually impressed the way they bounced back because they looked like they were on the verge of getting blown out, and they came back and literally made it as tight as you could possibly be. So that was impressive to get off the mat like they did and make that game big-time tough. So now with all that said and the experience of that, they know it. They gotta get it. They have to get it. I think they will. I hope they will, but they must. This is a cool November game, literally and figuratively. See what I did with the...
I did. Just letting you savor that for a second there. I knew you were enjoying that.
Well, sometimes, though, in full transparency, I get sidetracked when I wallow in my greatness for too long. Sometimes I just need to hit it, and then, okay, that happened. Now I'm taking one great comment at a time.
You just put that 5-iron 10 feet from the pin, but you got to put it behind you because you got a 10-footer to make for birdie.
Right.
Okay.
One great moment at a time. That was a great moment, but it's almost like it's 40 seconds behind us now. You got to move on to the next one.
Don't we all expect BYU and Utah to beat those two teams from Texas on Saturday? Caleb, best QB they faced on the road. Caleb's seen a combination of things that could bring the Utes down. Meanwhile, Christy, Utah, yes. BYU could struggle. TCU can be tough.
Christy says that?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I would probably agree with Christy on what she's saying there. I assume that's a female.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right. That's logical. Yeah, if I had to pick one of the two, guaranteed, I'd go Utah.
Right. Vegas says Utah by 9.5 and BYU by 4.5. And that's with the 3-point accommodation for the home team, obviously helping BYU and working against Utah. So the gamblers are right there.
It looks to be that on paper.
Yeah.
Which has been proven wrong many times, but that's the way it looks. And so I would agree with that. I did not know the odds, but I could agree with those odds.
I mean, we got 9 games in the books now. TCU's slightly better at 6-3. Well, they're both 3-3 in the league. TCU's slightly better overall at 6-3. Baylor 5-4. Baylor lost to Auburn. They lost their big game, and TCU beat SMU.
It just seems like Baylor's in a little bit of a
funk
quandary. The athletic director's basically stepping down.
Yeah.
And there's something going on there. And then he had the problem with the tight end that I think a while back. Aranda just seems like he's fighting for his job the last 5 Novembers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't think it's been 5, but it just seems like
No,
that.
it does. It does seem like that.
Yeah.
I bumped into...
Do you have a friend whose daughter went to Baylor?
No.
Oh,
close, though. Bumped into somebody we know whose kid was heavily recruited by Baylor and was leaning towards going there and then changed because Aranda was, the job was in jeopardy. And it seems like that was 3 years ago. So that job in jeopardy.
So
thing,
you bumped into Steve Tate 3 years ago? Or you bumped into him recently?
No, 3 years ago. In line at Cafe Rio. What a Utah experience that was.
Yeah, and I get that. That's uncertainty.
Yeah.
You're supposed to commit to a school and all that,
right.
but that is fantasy land.
I know.
The engineering program and all that stuff.
And Steve played, so he totally understands how it works. And he's like,
I never bought that philosophy.
He's like, my kid likes Aranda. I like Aranda. Everybody likes Aranda, but is he going to be there?
I've seen that TV show.
Which one is that?
Everybody likes Aranda.
It only had a 13-week run. They thought it was going to get canceled. And then they extended it for the rest of the year. Thought it was going to get canceled.
It seems like their program is in flux right now. And then I read last week, last home game, they had less than 40,000, which was the lowest crowd, blah, blah.
Right.
So the fan base is getting fickle.
Yeah.
Oh, we had David Smoke on.
David Smoke said that when he was on, yeah.
Oh, he said that?
Yeah, he did. The crowd.
He said they're disconnected. He's disconnected right now.
Yeah.
And I read it.
Translated for they're not winning enough.
Yeah, it does. And they moved on to basketball. It's like the U of A in Tucson.
2021, they won 12 games, and then 6 wins, 3 wins, 8 wins, 5 wins. I mean, they're all over the map.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, hence the disconnection.
And they're probably going to have a new AD.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's game week for the Utes, and the KSL Sports Zone is getting you ready for kickoff. After a much-needed week off, Kyle Whittingham and the Utes get set for the final 3 games of the season, starting with a trip to Waco for a battle against Baylor. Listen all week long for the best coverage of Utah football. Then catch college football Saturday game day at 10 a.m. with the postgame show immediately following the game on KSLSports.com.
Let's go then. Let's go, baby.
Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is live on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The band of the day, Blink-182. Drummer Travis Barker celebrates his 30th birthday. Should that be Travis? Yeah. Travis Barker celebrates his 50th birthday. Brought to you by Live Nation for all the live concerts and events in 2025. Check out livenation.com. The big 5-0. The kids are all grown up, PK. Blink-182 is 50.
That's a lot of blanks in his life.
There you go.
Why did Kyle just go deep into the response to Sawyer Robinson but had nothing to say about the Grizz?
Because Sawyer doesn't play at BYU.
Mm-hmm. That team down there.
That doesn't hold water for me. I want to know more. Why not?
Why don't you ask him?
Why won't he mention BYU's quarterback in any of his skills? What was the point behind that?
I don't know. It didn't make any sense to me. I think the only 2 things I would guess, and I'd just be guessing, I've never talked to him about this, but I would guess that 1, it's the rival, and he recruits more against them head-to-head, and so he just has decided not to talk about them. Or 2, due to the nature of the rivalry, anything you say
can be held against you?
Yes,
in
exactly.
In a court of law?
That's exactly it. In the court of the rivalry. In the court of the rivalry.
In the court of fan opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, you go down there to South Mountain, and you get right up on top of the county line in a courtroom there, and it can all be held against you. And so he's just like, I'm just not mentioning it. And just, if you try to compliment him, it's a backhand slide. If you don't compliment him,
but doesn't it look petty without even commenting at all?
Yeah, but
that's another. But that is the danger.
This kid is, we like what we see on film, and
he's talking about every other quarterback they have played all year, and then he says we're going to focus on our team this week.
Yep.
Why?
Yep. He's not talking about the rival.
If they would have asked him about Will Ferrin, would he have just elaborated? He's a heck of a kicker, man. Beat us last year. Clutch kick.
I don't know. Why didn't someone break down the place kicker? Missed opportunity.
Yeah. Would the question have been different if it would have been, could you speak to the quarterback play that BYU is receiving, rather than this focus on literal individual? Now, it's one and the same because he's taken virtually all the snaps.
I get your point. I don't think he would have said anything.
No? Not even at that. How about the running game? which is more people.
I have tried to do that, getting sound for later in the week for these updates we do, and it doesn't usually yield much. And one time this year, he said, well, I don't look at that opponent until Monday afternoon, which is why I can never answer your questions or something
but
to
he
that effect.
answered it about Sawyer Robertson. Was it because they had the bye?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe it was the bye.
And they need stuff to do?
I think it was about Cincinnati's run defense, I think is what I tried to ask him about, and he wasn't having any of it. But maybe the bye, you're right. Maybe the bye with Baylor gave him obviously more time.
Right, because he gave the kids off 3 days, he said.
Yeah, so they're ahead on their film work.
This time of year, he's not just sitting around watching TV. Yeah. So maybe that makes sense.
Yeah,
that he would have a lot more information because of the bye. Why not use that to your advantage and look at every opponent, but certainly the next opponent? I can buy that completely. I actually had not noticed that he waited, or he would say, well, I don't really get into it until Monday afternoon.
Yep.
But
yeah, he
specifically
said
know.
that.
I didn't remember
it
that.
would have been, I'm pretty sure it was the Cincinnati game that he said that.
Okay.
So the Monday before the Cincinnati game. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, and coming up this morning, so many things still in front of us. We still have David Locke showing up this morning. David will join us to talk all things Utah Jazz at 8:30. Kevin Graham is here to talk football at 9 o'clock. Mark Harlan on the playoff committee. We'll get to that next. Stay with us, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Mark Harlan added to the college football playoff committee. Playoffs? So what do we think about that?
I thought it was bleeping brilliant.
Kevin, this spot was stolen from us. We were happy to be part of the college football playoff, but today we are not. Matthew, this is fantastic. When the Utes don't get an invite, Harlan will jump on the table and say this was stolen from us. I was excited about the 12-team playoff, but now I am not. It was absolutely stolen from us.
Yeah, that's going to live on.
Forever.
As it should.
Mark, he'll provide great perspective to the committee as someone with recent on-field experience. Vernon.
Now that one's funny.
Vernon.
It's good.
Okay, so that's the only vote Utah will get then. See, that's the problem with this. You have to, when your team's discussed, you have to leave the room.
Why is that a problem?
Well, you have to leave the room. You can't
recuse yourself.
Why is that a problem?
Because that's one less person who could vote for you. If they'd added a different Big 12 AD, that Big 12 AD could advocate for Utah or BYU or
Are you sure
Texas
about that?
Tech seeding.
Are you sure about that?
What? Another Big 12? I don't think the other ADs have to leave the room.
Are you sure about that? I stand by my question.
No.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
I'm 90% sure about that. How about that?
Okay. It's a simple question.
Because the story I read
you
said
weren't
that
under
you
oath
have to,
here.
Well,
you're not. Gonna,
it feels like it sometimes. I'll just tell you that right now.
I know. I get that, but not this time.
So I'll tell you why. I'm pretty sure, but not completely sure. The story talked about how if you have a tie to your team, a tie to the team, you have to leave the room.
Tie goes to the runners, and Utah runs the ball well.
It didn't say the conference. So I assume that the conference is okay. It didn't spell it out in this story.
Oh, so it's the story's fault.
No, it'd be my fault for not contacting the author of the story and getting the footnoted edition.
You gotta report it. I mean, that's what Walt taught me.
Walt didn't teach you anything.
By example. That's so Jesus didn't teach you anything.
By legacy. See, Walt didn't write the Bible. Walt didn't write the Bible.
I'm just using a parable in the manner that you came to me.
Mark Harlan.
Get off the mount over there and finish your sermon, all right?
I'm just trying to understand logic.
Well done.
Trying to understand logic, that's all.
You are not.
I'm a devil.
That I believe. Finally, some truth.
So,
finally.
Everybody knows where my allegiances are. Yeah, I don't think that's a big deal.
Get the ASU AD on there, and then he can pump up Utah. The Utah AD can't pump up Utah.
I know. I think at this point in time, since it's late in the process, you need a seasoned guy. Or lady. And the AD is in barely his second year at ASU. Harlan has been around the block. He's had worked in athletic administration, 4 or 5 schools, obviously been an athletic director before.
He's been on this committee before.
He's been on the committee before, and I think that was a big factor. Right?
And he's in the conference, so to me it's an absolute logical association that you would have him aboard. He can step right in, and he follows the game. I've talked to him about the game a million times over. And so it in my mind, it would be an absolutely seamless transition to get a veteran person in here of his caliber.
Dax, BYU is screwed.
And you know, I disagree on that because
I do too.
I mean, obviously he's been here like 7, 8 years now.
8.
And so he had an idea of the rivalry growing up in the LA area, going to school in Arizona and all. I'm sure he did. But, you know, he had and probably still has an outstanding relationship with Tom Holmoe. And now he's got to develop one with Brian. But I don't think he really gets caught up in that stuff in the man because Chris Hill and his associate, they did because they were getting their brains beat out for years. And so it was sort of like a little bit of a, not necessarily revenge, but it was sort of sweet that they got up here and you got stuck down there.
Yes.
Mark comes in a different aspect. Utah's already there. So he didn't go through the struggles of the climb and getting your brains beat out. Like he came in and didn't lose for several years.
Yeah.
In football, obviously.
And they weren't in the same league. He wasn't interacting in league meetings the same way, and they weren't the 800-pound gorilla. It's just different.
I have 1,000% faith that if Mark Harlan is asked to give a fair assessment of Brigham Young University football, he will do exactly that.
And for all the debates that we have had here in the last week or two, and that we will have in the next couple of weeks, there might not be anything to pitch either way. It might be crystal clear.
And I think to a large degree it will be.
Yeah. Maybe Texas Tech with the seeding, that might be where he has more say, because it appears they'll be in, and maybe the seeding won't be crystal clear.
And that's not that big of a deal to me. The lobbying is done by Yormark. That's his job. He needs to have every one of these people on speed dial. He's like the coach texting the star quarterback high school recruit. Hey, you had a great game. How you doing this morning? How's your body feel? You know, there's a constant, whatever the communication rules are. Yormark needs to be pitching this because we already saw this very week, early in the week, the SEC commissioner telling us we ought to get 8.
Yeah.
At minimum 6. What he's saying is we ought to get 8, but I freaking darn well better get 6. And then that's what he's saying. And so that message rings louder. It's not Mark Harlan's job to pitch for the Big 12 in this situation. They're paying somebody literally millions of dollars to do this. And that's what he needs to do. And Mark has integrity on the line here. And I know he came out on the field and he popped off. Wow, he's a human being. Who knew? And so he made a mistake. Well, whoop-de-doo. It happened. It's not like it's a slew of mistakes. He got heated. I mean, I've talked to him about stuff that that's not the first time he's complained about officiating.
Said every AD ever.
Yes.
This game was absolutely stolen from us. We were excited about being in the Big 12, but tonight I am not.
That's a legendary comment right there.
That lives forever.
That's what makes this rivalry, man.
But it also, I think that final comment about not being happy to be in the Big 12 leads BYU fans to be like, okay, he's going to, on BYU.
I don't think he is. I don't think he is.
I would tend to agree with you. I'm just saying that's, I think, where that.
That's fine. And you're a fan and you have fun. That's what you do with this rivalry. That stuff, in a sense, is fun. slugging another person, having foul language, being vile to somebody you see on the concourse because he or she is wearing a colored shirt representative of your team, that's over the top.
Yeah.
But this stuff, that's what it's about, going back and forth like that. And I'm okay with that. And in retrospect, I would think, Mark doesn't really want to talk about it, but I would think he could see where, okay, I can see where they make fun of that. Because now we're well over a year removed from it. It's harmless from that perspective. But I have no doubt that he's going to evaluate fairly. Plus, he's one of 12 voices, right?
I thought the good part was that an AD left, so they put an AD on, and it was a Big 12 AD, so they put a Big 12 AD on.
So each one
in retrospect, that should be obvious, but the way things work in college sports, I didn't know.
Each of the Power 4 conferences has a conference representative on the committee, so they were replacing the Big 12 representative was Mac Rhodes. Therefore, they replaced him with another Big 12
like
AD.
the opinions of guys like Chris Ault, Mark D'Antonio, Mike Riley. These guys, they've been in the mud for a long time as coaches. And then they try to get some representation. They have a female on there, a lady named Carla Williams. I'm looking at it right now. Ivan Maisel, longtime respected media member, highly respected media member. I don't even know what he's doing now. But he has that deep voice. Heard him talk. So he's been doing it. You have veteran people here that just, that they may not. We may not agree with everything that they do, and I don't know that we ever will. You know what I mean? Well, last year we feel like BYU got screwed.
Yeah.
Okay, there's going to be somebody else this year who feels like it.
There
It's
always
just the
has
nature
to be a
of it.
bubble team, and when the tournament's 12, 16 deep, even when it was 4 deep, we had that whole Florida State fiasco. There's always going to be this stuff.
Right. Well, always, because there's not a professional bracket. If you do this and this.
Well, the Big Ten's pitching it, sort of.
Well, and I would like to hear the proposal, actually. We keep going down the road. There's no turning back.
Right.
So we've taken a significant step. If there are other steps to be taken, let's hear the proposals. Doesn't necessarily mean they're bad.
Well, the part that everyone objects to is the SEC and the Big Ten get 4, and the ACC and the Big 12 get 2. If the ACC and the Big 12 were given 4, just like the Big Ten and the SEC, I think they'd be signing on in a heartbeat.
Okay, but I understand that. I'm not making an opinion of the possibility. I'm just saying I want to hear discussion about the possibilities, and I get it. Each of these things they've got one interest in mind, themselves, and then the good of the game. But they want to take care of themselves first. Everybody does that.
Yeah.
When money's at stake. And it'll always be like that. But as far as Mark jumping on this year, it's a logical position to be in. They probably knew the AD at Colorado was stepping aside. He announced that. You're not going to put Santiago on it. He just got there. As I said, the Sun Devil guy just got there. And here you got somebody who has been around and has experience in athletic administration for many, many years. So away you go here. And hopefully for our sakes that one or both. I would be ideal. Personally, I'd love to see both, but I want one, and I really don't care which one it is. Give me BYU or Utah in the playoff, and I'll enjoy it. Give them both, and that's Christmas morning. Now, the great thing about it is Mark Harlan, if you take care of your business, he's got nothing to say about it. You can go get that bid, and nobody can take it away from you, and nobody can give it to you.
A four-game winning streak for BYU right now, and they're in. Win your last 3, win the conference title game, and then all that's being talked about is seeding.
Oh, yeah, if BYU goes on a 4-game winning streak, they're minimally getting a home game. Minimally. Get out of town. Well, they're gonna go.
No.
Minimally.
DJ.
Yeah.
12-1.
12-1?
They're getting a home game. Sorry.
Okay.
No,
they're gonna
because Tech might very well get a top 4 seed.
Yeah, they're gonna leap Notre Dame. They're gonna leap Texas.
At
12-1?
Texas and Oklahoma will probably lose, so that'll just
at
take
12-1.
12-1, yes.
Absolutely.
I guess Tech wouldn't get in a home game because
would 12-1 BYU move in front of 8-1? 11-1 Oregon if Oregon wins out, which isn't.
We don't need to move in front of them. You just need to be a seed that gives you a home game.
It'd be 5 through 8.
That's all you need. That's all. I'm not going to argue your point. I'm going to stick to my point and Yak's point. 12-1 gets you a home game.
They're going to be 5 through 8, and they'll have a home game.
I don't care if they move ahead of Oregon.
Well, Oregon's sitting in the 8th spot. They got to move ahead of somebody.
They'd be
they would
Tech because they beat Tech.
Wouldn't move.
They would beat Tech.
Yeah.
They'll beat Tech. Yeah.
They would Florence Griffith Joyner. Is that her name?
I thought she was a sprinter.
Right.
Did she do the long jump?
No, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
sprinting, man.
Oh, okay. I was thinking like long jump, high jump, pole vault.
Coming down the track.
Yeah.
In impressive speed.
That
would be shocking.
Big 12 teams getting the shaft doesn't shock me.
No.
Okay.
12-1.
I mean, the SEC's got games where each other are going to beat each other up, and teams
we
are going
have
to drop.
that this weekend. We have 4 and 5 versus 10-11.
Right.
No, I don't care who it is. Any 12-1 team that doesn't get a home game, I would be outraged.
You're going to have Shahanjay Araja on our airwaves saying this is travesty if that happens.
Once Shahanjay Araja says it, you know it's true. The guy wears loud sport coats.
He does wear loud sports coats.
Electric blue.
That would just be an absolute given. I would fire all those people on the committee.
Oh, you may need to.
No.
Okay.
12-1? And you will have beaten...
you will have beaten number 6 Tech.
Yeah, and...
a ranked Cincinnati.
And
Cincinnati is 25 right now.
And Utah?
Yeah, you'd also have a win over Utah, who's probably going to be top 15.
Utah's moving up.
Yeah.
They're the Jeffersons. They ain't going down.
Oh, sing it. Come on, Yak, let's go. It's on YouTube.
I don't think they're losing. And you got that in the bag.
Yep.
And last year, and this is where the human factor comes in, they know full well that maybe they hosed BYU last year. And so they're not going to do it again.
I like all those points, and then over here is they've got to hop over Big Ten and SEC teams.
No, they need to finish 5-8. That's not that outrageous. That's an assumption.
There'll probably be enough help along the way. You're right. They probably would get there.
Yeah. I didn't think you thought that all the way through, but now you have.
I didn't. No, I default to the Big 12 is going to get the shaft.
Not at 12-1.
Tie. What was that thing you just said? Tie base goes to the runner. Yeah, tie base doesn't go to the Big 12. It goes to SEC or Big 10.
Come on, move around with me.
We finally got a piece of the pie. Doom, doom, doom. You doing the sprinkler? What are you doing over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
This has got to be high quality YouTube entertainment right
now. Yeah. Wheezy would pitch a fit.
Wheezy would.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying, man. And Tech, Utah, West Virginia, Oklahoma State, I don't care who it is. Yeah. You go 12-1 in this conference.
So over here, your mark could be saying 12-1, got to have a home game. And over here, you'd have the SEC commissioner saying, got to have 8 teams, even though you're right, he means 6. Or 5 if Oklahoma, gets beat twice. He'll give up on them.
The SEC is so cocky that they wouldn't care. We'll play anywhere you want and beat you.
That's probably what they would think, yes.
Well, Sankey's been a broken record on that.
Yeah, so whoop-de-doo.
It's more Petiti in the Big Ten.
Texas had BYU, first-round playoff game.
Well, they've been in Provo before.
I don't care.
No, I'm just thinking, how juicy would that be? Here comes Arch Manning.
In mid-to-late December.
Sark wasn't coaching them when they came here, right?
Yeah.
Anybody against...
I know, any playoff game would be great.
Yeah. They're all good teams. We're not arguing that. No one's arguing that. They're all very good teams.
Number 9, Utah. Number 8, BYU.
Oh, that's the ultimate fantasy.
Yeah.
And if I'm Utah, I would love that because that's not really a road game in the manner of a road game.
Right. Yeah. That's not getting on a plane and flying across the country.
No. Each team has won in each other's stadium.
Well, first you got to win them all.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. I just don't see anybody beating Tech.
Right.
That's
so that was a fun
line.
segment, but that was just a bunch of hot air.
Probably.
Like many segments we've done.
Yeah, what the heck? This is sports radio.
DJ PK, it's David Locke next. Stay with us. Utah Jazz with a beautiful loss. Also, we have Jazz tickets to give away on the other side of the break, so stick around for that. You might win. We might send you to a game. That's next right here on The Zone.
You've been listening to The Zone for decades. Yes! But now you can watch the guys break down your favorite teams.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Catch the video stream of DJ and PK, Jake and Bat, Hanson Scotty, and JJ and Alex right now at KSLSports.com or by searching KSL Sports on YouTube. Utah's best sports radio is on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's a Utah Jazz Ticket Friday. Caller 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. We'll win a 4-pack of tickets to watch the Jazz and the Bulls Sunday at the Delta Center. Call right now, 801-575-ZONE. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Utah Jazz, beaten at home. File that one under acceptable loss, right, PK? 3-point game going to the fourth quarter. Oh, they weren't good enough in the fourth quarter. That's too bad.
Well, if you have a team that shoots over 50% from the three in the manner of the way the game is played today, it's not 6 for 10. It's 27 for 43 or something. You're going to win.
24-47 last night.
Yeah, I mean, come on. What are you going to do?
Find the 3-point shooters. Sometimes there's nothing you can do.
Right.
Other times it did seem like guys were kind of floating, not completely aware of what they were supposed to be doing.
Yeah, but I think on both sides.
Well, the Jazz were 19 of 44, 43%. I mean, they were lighting it up themselves.
And if they would have shot over 50%, they would have won.
See? There it is. 5 more threes for Atlanta and a 10-point win.
Yeah. Duh. We get that. So, this maybe the you nitpick 42 in the first, and then they allowed 42 in the first and only scored 19 in the fourth.
Big. DJ PK, we're joined now by David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz. David, good morning.
You know, what a gift you two have. I mean, I wake up, I go through my day, and then all of a sudden, at 8:30 on Fridays, I feel better than I have felt at any point all week because I get time with DJ and PK. I mean, truly, a gift you give to people to be so uplifting, make people feel so happy. Incredible. Truly, truly angels on earth.
I didn't hear you. What did you say?
I said, truly angels on earth.
In a previous segment, he pointed out he's a devil, but now he's an angel on earth.
Sun devil.
Well, that might be
Sun devil.
That actually might be very deep, symbolic knowledge of how the world truly works. Frankly,
There it
right
is.
there, if you want to get
You need guys
fairly
like me.
deep and philosophical.
An angel, yet a devil. 80 points at halftime. You were thinking, there's no way they're getting to 160. Something's got to happen. 52 in the second half. That was much better.
Yeah, I mean, they had a lights-out shooting night that, give them credit. I mean, Quinn's doing some really interesting things and running some good stuff, and they're really, really, really hard to guard, and they are truly, not to get like into an Atlanta controversy, but they're much harder.
There will be no Atlanta controversy. David will be cut off.
Devil or angel.
I believe he was about to make a point about not having Trey there, who can be a little ball dominant.
Well, they had a lot of trays last night.
They ended up with a lot of trays instead of one tray.
And they were arresting Kristaps Porzingis. The guy needs a blow. I mean, he is freaking Cal Ripken.
Well, it's game 13, so you know what the heck. Were you about to make a point about not having Trey?
Well, I said something nice about Quinn's not having the phone disconnected. I guess you're not allowed to do that anymore. Quinn's running some interesting stuff where they're just getting into their offense really, really fast, and they're doing it from a lot of different angles and a lot of different places. And where if you have Trae Young, they're coming at you kind of from one spot, and it's difficult because Trae Young's great, but you know where they're attacking you from and how they're attacking you. And, they had Lowry high up on the pick and roll with Nurkic trying to deal with a Lowry. Those are the guys we don't want. Nurkic, we have no choice, but those are two guys you don't want in space having to try to guard pick and rolls or trying to guard early actions. And it was just a really, really difficult defensive night, and the Jazz got better as the night went on. And really the Jazz, Atlanta shot – at one point, Atlanta was shooting 54% from three with a lot of attempts, and the Jazz were still in contact. And you kind of knew the game was going to get back to even, and then the Jazz shot brilliantly, and it was 103-103. And frankly, we turned it over 3 straight possessions. All 3 were pretty careless, bad turnovers. And frankly, I'm not going youth on it. It was Nurkic, Markkanen, and George with 3 bad turnovers. So that was a game. We're within 1, have the basketball, and Nurk throws the same pass that had worked earlier in the game multiple times. I'm just not sure I throw it 5 minutes left in a game. It's a 1-point game to try to get Lowry on a backdoor cut without a lot of room. And then Lowry tries to skip over the top of the defense from the left corner to the right corner. Has more airtime than most flights these days. And then lastly, Keontae ball fakes Nickeil Alexander-Walker, but then leaves the ball exposed, and now he takes the ball and takes it the other way, and the game's over. So that was the game, but boy, it was fun and exciting and played well, and a lot of really good moments. But I think it is worth noting that the team made had out youth at this one.
Yeah, that's fine. Point taken. I've come up with a new name for Ace Bailey. I'm calling him the Gondola because get on board and he will take you to the top.
Yeah, it's like. It is, I will admit, it is almost hard right now to not just be Ace Bailey. And if we're just honest about it, the entire this is so unfair. He's 19 years old, but the well-being of the franchise and our future, and it's on Ace Bailey right now. It's gonna be on somebody else and Ace Bailey next year, but it's on Ace Bailey. There's not another guy on this roster who we should ever expect to be better than a top 50 player in the NBA. I think if someone does that, they really vaulted themselves into a new category. I think Keontae could be really good, but he also is still shooting 26% from three. So let's give him still some leeway to get better. But no, it's awesome. The talent, we'll see. We'll see. This is what it's all about. You have a piece, and it's, this is how I feel. I'm going to take a little side note on this one, but this is, to me, this relates to the Luka trade to me. It's a little bit like New Orleans with Zion, and Ace Bailey's not perfect, right? I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of things that are bumps in the road. I'm sure, he's got to figure out off-court living. There's just a lot. That's our job. Our job being the organization. The organization's job is to have a talent at this level, and then your job is to foster it into its maximum ability. This is my point on the Nico Harrison, why he should have been fired the day he made the trade, is let's say every disgusting rumor that he spread about Luka Doncic is true, that he drinks too much, that he wasn't I don't care. He's the best offensive player this side of Nikola Jokic in the world. I don't care if he does all those things. Your job as an organization is to find a way to get him better. New Orleans' job with Zion Williamson has been to find a way to maximize the greatest talent in the entire league and figure out how to make it work. And New Orleans has failed at it. And therefore their franchise is in disarray. This is our job for the next 5 to 10 years is foster an environment where Ace Bailey thrives. And then we'll add another one, hopefully, in the offseason, and that's the job. But this is what it's all about. So, yes, it's Ace Bailey, and it's awesome. That pullback jumper the other day is awesome and highlight reel, but the pass to Markkanen on a basic, fundamental flare action that we call Ray was awesome, and the pass last night on the drive on the right baseline, those are just not plays people make. They're just not, and he's great.
Not to mention his jumper couldn't have been smoother last night.
Yeah, he had it going on. Last couple games, man, since he moved in the starting lineup.
Right.
Can't argue with it.
And also the jumper last night, I'm going to give the coaches credit. He's shooting it. If you go back and look at video, he's shooting it a little differently. Like they've worked with him. We're seeing the beginning of the impact of the fact that you get to play basketball for 6 hours every day. Like, you know, the NCAA is one of the worst breeding grounds for basketball players to get better. They don't get better in college because coaches don't have enough time. The NCAA restricts how much they can practice. It's stupid. We don't do this to a violinist. We don't do it to a ballet. Like, we don't do it to anyone else. We just do it to athletes. Oh, you can't practice. Like, great. That's super because he's going to make $300 million playing the sport. Maybe he should be able to practice all day. They don't, you know, and so you get him in this environment where you have a coach established to him who's not out recruiting, and players get better. They get way better, and Ace's jumper looks different already.
We haven't seen a lot of Isaiah Collier, but we saw him for 25 minutes last night, and that was a lot of assists and a lot of layups. Okay, maybe one time a little optimistic on scoring and got swatted, but my gosh, he was in the paint the whole night. Now, maybe that's a team that doesn't have a lot of rim protection, so it's a game that's built for him, and I get that. But what do you think of watching him in the little bit you've seen him?
I've been really impressed. Like, I'm a little hung up. I like my numbers and all my other stuff, and I'm all hung up on shooting. Okay, let's just talk about what he's great at, right? You can sit here and talk about all the things that are missing. No, this is like what he's great at. He's great at his tempo, his speed, his power, those are special skills. Those are elite level NBA skills. There's a reason why at a point in time he was the number one recruit in the country. I know it's kind of a silly thing, but like there's a reason. Now, since then, as he elevates, the game asks more out of him, and I do think, I think he's taken like 2-3 attempts in 72 minutes. Like, that's a hard one to live by in this league at this point in time for a guard. So he's going to have to figure some things out still. But, boy, you're right. His impact on the game is incredible. You're also right that Indiana without a center and Atlanta without Porzingis playing and without a center are two games back-to-back that match his gameplay, and fine. So maybe it's going to be that Isaiah Collier in certain nights of the year is a 30-minute-a-night player, and certain nights of the year is a 14-minute-a-night player. But he impacts the game at a dramatic level, and it's pretty awesome. And I think he impacts how the other players play on the floor with him as well.
You can remember many years ago when we were talking, you would talk about, some guys are going to put up stats just because people have to put up stats on any given game, right? And so maybe they're a little misleading. And I'm going this with Mark, and he's on a scoring explosion pretty much the whole year. He's had a few off games. But how much of that is his ability? And I know if he was on a better team, he probably wouldn't get as many FGAs. But I'm trying to figure out how much of it is empty, how much of it is real, and you've made this statement that when the Jazz are their next playoff team, he'll be on it. And so as he progresses, when we get to that point, which I have no doubt will come, what type of player he would be versus the type of player he is now.
So I think you have to take and realize that Lauri Markkanen is a 7'1" shooting guard. And then the area where he's not quite the same as the other shooting guards is he's going to create his offense through activity without the ball, not activity with the ball. So if you actually look at him, his shot diet is the exact same as Steph Curry, Donovan Mitchell, and Tyrese Maxey right now. He takes 10 threes a game. He takes like 11 twos a game, and he shoots they're the exact same. Go look at Donovan Mitchell, Tyrese Maxey, Steph Curry. They're all taking the exact same amount of threes, the exact same amount of twos. They score the same amount of points a game. Like, it's pretty crazy. That's what he is. And he's 7'1", and it's really amazing to watch. The one thing that he does not do, and the Jazz tried really hard last year and kind of derailed some of the stuff he does, was to try to see if he could just give him the ball and have him isolate and create. And so the way that Steph Curry, Tyrese Maxey, and Donovan Mitchell can bring the ball to the floor and then come off a high pick and create is just not his game. And so he's going to have to come off an off-ball screen. They're running way more pick and roll with him this year, both because he's good at it. He's gotten much better at catching the ball in the paint and making decisions or scoring around traffic, and because we don't have a big that can set a pick on the pick and roll anymore. And so that makes it – Nurkic can do it. He's just not very good at it, and he's not a good roller. So it's just not – the play now is a small pick and roll. A small switched onto Lowry and having Lowry slip into the lane and catch and make a play, and that's new. He did not used to do that, and it's helped him a great deal. And then Will Hardy last night was talking about how they watched him in Finland and how they used him, and they've gone to a little bit more of that stuff where Lowry really has gotten very good at catching in traffic around the basket and making plays. And so you're now seeing him run off-ball action, whether it's off double staggers, off the pick and roll, where not only is he playing to the three-point line, but he's also taking tight curls in the two-point range or coming off slips in the two-point range, and it's just changed his game. Geeky number for you, I think 78% of his two-point shots are assisted right now. It was 64% last year. Klay Thompson has never had a year of his career with 78% of his two-point shots assisted. You think like the ultimate catch and shoot guy. That's literally Lowry is playing without the bounce at all. And so he's getting all of his actions off of things, getting the ball. That does get hard late in games. It will be interesting to see as we play more close games. We really haven't played very many close games yet this year. Can we get Lowry the ball? That's always been the problem is late in games. Can you get Lowry the ball?
But the fact that teams don't dare switch because now – they're going to have to – if you're going to switch, you're going to have to put someone smaller on Markkanen. And if the Jazz get proficient at getting Markkanen to basically post up it's not old school Karl Malone back to the basket post up, but essentially get him within 3 or 4 feet of the hoop, and the smaller guy's got no chance. Mouse in the house, as Thurl Bailey likes to scream. Mouse in the house. Thurl always knew when he got a small guy on him, he was taking him right to the rim. Can the Jazz get teams now so the teams don't dare switch everything on the Jazz as long as Markkanen's on the floor?
Well, Atlanta switched last night. Atlanta's actually a maintain team. Screens. That's not their defensive style, and they changed their defensive approach last night because of Lowry. They decided he was too big and too versatile, and they decided to switch everything, and that's why you saw all those backdoor cuts early in the game from Lowry. That's the other thing is he's reading the circumstances so well. He's now, it's been 3-4 years now where Lowry's the primary offensive player and coming off these sets, and now he reads the defense. And when you are switching, like not to get too detailed, but if Lowry's coming from the bottom right corner of the court and on a route that's outside the three-point line to the top, and he's coming off a pick or two, by definition, if you switch it, the guy is on the top side of you. You now back cut, and you have a dunk or a layup to the basket if someone can find you. And he did that a bunch early last night because of their switching, read them perfectly, and had the answer. And last night, Atlanta broke their defensive schemes to be able to switch. It led to Lowry scoring 40-whatever points. So to your point, yes, this is the answer if teams are switching. The league is allowing you to basically commit bodily harm on players off the ball right now. They have absolutely eliminated player movement, and basically you're allowed to just mug somebody all the time, which is kind of grotesque in my opinion. And I don't know why we're here, but I think we're here only because the offensive play – the league's allowing you to do it, and we scored 133 points last. Atlanta scored 133, and so did Phoenix, and so did Toronto last night. So if we do allow this, I guess everyone will score 150, but because the players have just gotten too good. So it will be interesting. And when we play Oklahoma City, I don't think it'll work because Oklahoma City fouls you every single minute of every single moment of the game, and literally, in most states, it would be a crime how much contact they make with you.
All right, we'll leave it right there, David. We appreciate it as always. You're the man, and we'll hear you Sunday, Jazz and Bulls.
You are angels that bring uplifting energy to all of us, and I could not be more thankful for my time with you.
David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz. Kevin Graham's talking football at the top of the hour. Stay with us.
whirls around and down.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone is your exclusive home of the Utah Jazz. And we want to send you to the Delta Center to see the Jazz in action. Listen every Tuesday for the Jazz Ticket Tuesday Sounder at 30 past the hour, every hour, all day long. And if you're caller number 12, you'll be on your way to an upcoming game.
Buy one, you'll get one free.
It's Jazz Ticket Tuesday, every Tuesday throughout the NBA season on your radio home for the Utah Jazz. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hercules First Federal Credit Union Salt Lake County High School Player of the Week award goes to Xavier Kachi from Skyline High. He capped his season by throwing for 298 yards and a touchdown, while also rushing for 133 yards and 3 scores in the Eagles' 28-26 loss to Green Canyon. Don't miss KSL Sports coverage of the Utah High School Activities Association state semifinals at Rice-Eccles Stadium. Catch the action today beginning at 10 a.m. on KSLSports.com, the KSL Sports app, or on 102.7 HD2, the KSL Sports Zone. The Salt Lake County Player of the Week Award is proudly presented by Hercules First Federal Credit Union. At Hercules, they're celebrating the everyday victories. Hercules First Federal Credit Union, growing stronger together.
Rock and roll, Kachi-ku.
Okay. Don't know what to do with that.
Still playing words.
Okay.
We got to do our locks.
The lock of the week. You know, usually I'm prepared for this moment, and I've got it written down at home, and now I don't remember. I doped out the rest of the season. Yeah, I know.
You did?
I did.
Oh, he took it seriously.
I did.
Then I
left it at home, so now I don't have it.
I'm a seat of the pants kind of guy. Have I had Pittsburgh, Yaka?
Consulting the cheat sheet, you have not taken Pittsburgh.
All right, I'll take them this week.
Taking the Steelers, all right?
Because we got to go quick. Come on. I ain't got time. That's not exactly quick.
Who you got, Yak? I had somebody written down. I think I'm taking the Texans over the Titans.
That's where I was going to go. So I'll let you have Houston.
One T over the other T.
Okay, I'm actually going to go. I have not used this team yet. I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers over the Giants.
Have I taken the 49ers yet?
You have not.
Dang it. I have this mapped out. Maybe I was going to take the 49ers over the Cards. No, I'll take the Texans over the Titans and save the Niners for later.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right, so we got the Pack, the Steelers, and the Texans.
Purdy going home.
Texans are 1-3 on the road. I'm not sure I like what I'm doing here, but whatever. Fine.
Sometimes you got to be bold.
They had a crazy game last week.
They played the Seattle on the road, Rams on the road. They played some tough road games. They had to handle this. All right, DJ and PK, when we come back, Kevin Graham. What's he going to be whining about? We'll find out together. Next, stay with us. Make this Thanksgiving unforgettable with Kenny J's Barbecue. Skip the stress and bring home slow smoked perfection. Pre-order your Thanksgiving meal today. Text 801-230-5396 and come and eat with JJ and Alex today from 3 to 6 at Kenny J's at the District. DJ, PK, and we're joined once again by Kevin Graham. Kevin, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm trying to the best of my ability to unsee in my mind the PK attempt at the sprinkler to the theme of the Jeffersons about 30 minutes ago. It had to have been maybe the most out-of-rhythm sprinkler I've ever seen in my life. It's like a legitimate sprinkler that literally, you see a sprinkler in the yard, and when it gets a kink in the hose and the sprinkler just kind of falls over and kind of like does like a seizure or something.
No,
it was it was.
I have been in talks for a remake of Saturday Night Fever.
I don't even want to see you attempt to dance after just seeing you try to do a sprinkler. It's and then to the tune, what's next? Are you going to do the lawnmower to the theme of Sanford and Sons? I mean, what are we doing here? 70s, 80s TV sitcoms?
I may do the swim to the theme for Friends.
Swim.
Bum, bum, ba-da-da. Bum, bum, ba-da. Come on, y'all, give me some Sanford and Son.
I like the theme song to Friends was pretty good.
Friends, yeah, there you go. That's a tempo. I don't know if you can hold that rhythm, PK. I'd go something a little slower on the rhythm there, but I'm just saying. I'm telling you, everybody should just watch that YouTube channel, man. It is entertainment. Yeah, every day, every morning. Yeah. You tell DJ, by the way, just rolled out of bed this morning and came in, right? With the Padres hat on and the orange sweatshirt.
You forgot the part where I rolled out of bed late this morning.
Yeah. Oh no, I actually wake up to you guys and I just heard PK doing the trending thing and I'm like, I wonder where DJ is this morning. Yeah.
It happens.
I wasn't actually going to bring that up because I didn't want your bosses to be aware because I'm sure most of them weren't up that early.
You just did bring it up. What do you mean you didn't want to bring it up?
I just said you just rolled out of bed. I didn't say you were late to the show.
It was clear.
I just said you looked like you rolled out of bed.
It was clear.
Hey, it happens, man. It happens to the best of us.
It does.
Yep.
No doubt about it.
Yep.
We have come to the conclusion that Utah is going to run the ball and run the ball and run the ball some more, and they're going to be Baylor, and that's why they're favored by 9.5 points. And the good news is there's a lot of stuff happening at that time, and I won't be surprised if the Utes open up a lead here and I'm able to watch BYU UConn, Utah State UNLV, because the Utes will turn this game into a four-con conclusion before the fourth quarter. Do you believe that to be possible?
Yes, it is possible. My only concern really is just the bye happening and whether that knocks them out of rhythm a little bit. I mean, they were rolling, since they beat BYU. Obviously, they blew out Colorado, who's terrible, and then they blew out Cincinnati, who was supposed to be decent. So, I could see that happening. I tell you, and kind of off it a little bit. I was just kind of thinking about this today. Especially the way BYU played last week against Texas Tech. If Utah can keep it rolling, I mean, don't you agree, that the best championship game and the team that has the best chance, in my opinion, to beat Texas Tech, wouldn't you agree it would be Utah? I mean, Utah right now is the number 2 offensive team in points scored in the Big 12 behind Texas Tech. Utah is the number 2 defense in points allowed in the league behind Texas Tech. The way Utah's playing right now on all cylinders and the athletes they have, I mean, they played each other earlier in the season. Obviously, Texas Tech dominated and won. But the way Utah's rolling right now, if they can keep that going, not only against Baylor and then keep it rolling through Kansas and Kansas State, or Kansas State rather first and then Kansas, that to me would probably be the better game. And Utah could be the better team at that point to have a shot at actually beat Texas Tech. I don't know, obviously, if that's going to happen with their 2 losses and everything else, but and whether they even get that shot. But and then obviously if BYU takes care of business, they'll get that another shot just based on their better record and beating Utah. But I don't know. I think Utah just seems to be rolling right now.
So that would lead us to believe that you've given up on BYU after just one game.
No, I haven't given up. I have not given up on BYU. I mean, what happened?
Suppose they get back on target and win out.
Well, they do. You know what? And if they do, they deserve another shot at Texas Tech. I just don't think they're not built in a way to, in my opinion, beat Texas Tech. I mean, I was very rare in my assessment last week of calling for a Texas Tech blowout, and I don't know. I mean. BYU getting a second chance at them, I would hope to think that they would change some things. I mean, obviously, everything that you guys and I talked about last Friday that BYU had to do to win that game, they did none of it. I'd say defense played a winnable game. I mean, holding Texas Tech to 5 field goals and being put in a bad position at times, field position-wise with turnovers and whatnot. But they held their ground. I think defensively they played a winnable game against Texas Tech. But BYU did nothing else. I mean, they didn't play clean football with the turnovers. They didn't play complementary football with the special team issues they had, which was very interesting and rare to see because they've been so good at special teams. They couldn't run the football, which I think we all kind of knew going in. I mean, heck, they only averaged 2.5 yards per game. And then the other thing Texas Tech did is they were able to limit Bears' playmaking abilities because of the athletes they have and the system they put together and a really good game plan. That's the other thing. They outcoached BYU as well with the defensive game plan of making Bear not be able to run the football. And then I thought the game plan for BYU offensively, I thought they played scared. They didn't challenge Texas Tech at all. I thought their goal was to try to be as conservative, it seemed like, as possible, where in my mind, I'm like, you throw the ball down the field, take shots. They did that one shot, and Roberts had a chance at it. They should have been throwing the ball down the field. So will they make all those changes if they get that shot at Texas Tech again? Yeah, hopefully, they do, and maybe they'll have a different outcome. But I mean, Texas Tech is just really good. And if they can stay healthy and they don't have any stumbles, and they're not going to stumble against Central Florida, West Virginia, they're not going to lose that game either, but I think it might be a little tighter than some people might expect because West Virginia is playing better football right now. I don't know. I mean, that's why they play the games.
You did predict Texas Tech 31-10, so at 29-7, you were way off, and you need to do better in the future.
I know, right? It's very rare that I even come that close. So I was, and I hate to say it again, gambling's illegal in Utah, and I don't recommend anybody doing it. But I put my $5 whopping on Texas Tech, and I won that bet too. So it's very rare. It's very rare where I actually win. So, but they're good. I mean, we all saw it. And PK, I think I was reading a little bit earlier this week. I read your column. I mean, they do. I mean, they have the best athletes, and they have loads of money, just like the BYU basketball program, to be able to buy themselves the best players that they can get. And I think by far, or not by far, because I do think Utah and Texas Tech, if Utah keeps playing at that high level, if the two of them matched up again, I'd pay to see that game. Yeah, I think that would be an interesting matchup.
I think you might be barking up the wrong tree on that. The way to beat Tech is through the air. The Devils showed it.
Yeah.
And Utah doesn't do that. They don't do that. That's not their game.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They're going to have to they can win a low-scoring game.
Defensively, I think they match up good with the Texas Tech offense the second time around. But, that's a good point.
What do you think of the SEC commissioner coming out saying that they should get 8 teams in? Certainly 6, but 8.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's what commissioners are paid to do, man. They're paid to sit there and trumpet their own conference. And as you know, the SEC feels like they're above everybody else. So if they deserve 8 teams, sure. But they don't deserve 8 teams from what I can see. 6 probably, like you said. I mean, be curious. I mean, Oklahoma's not going to get in because, I see Alabama beating Oklahoma. Keep an eye on that game if you're a BYU and Utah fan because you definitely, Bama, you might naturally want to root against. But you know what? Bama's going to get in. So let them win. Blow out Oklahoma, who's sitting at 11, right ahead of BYU and Utah. So let them lose. I don't see it. But and I just, like I said, I look at that as propaganda crap. I mean, the Big Ten commissioner probably thinks that all 50 of their teams should get into. So
it makes me wonder what else is going on behind the scenes. Are they talking about 16 or even 24 team tournaments? Because I think they're always working behind the scenes. Remember all the glowing things they were saying about people while they were trying to pop Oklahoma and Texas away from the Big 12, and they did. So I figure the SEC's an iceberg, and only 10% of it's above the water. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, I 100% agree. I mean, the legit teams that could get in is Texas A&M, Bama, Georgia. They're givens. Ole Miss, I think is a given. But after that, you got to, watch, Texas. Texas to get in, but they're going to lose to Georgia. So
they're going to lose to A&M because then they're 8-4.
And then they're going to lose to A&M. So So again, if you're BYU and Utah and you're fans of those schools, that's what you want. You want the better SEC schools to beat the lesser SEC schools, and then the SEC is going to clamor, well, we're the SEC, 4-loss SEC team should get in because look who they lost to in the SEC. Well, whatever.
They lost to Florida.
Exactly. So
Texas lost to Florida.
No,
be quiet.
Yeah. So you're in good shape. If BYU keep winning out, Texas, Oklahoma can dump out of the top 12. So now you move in. Now, obviously you got to get to 11 because you got South Florida or whoever one of the lesser 5 conference schools are going to get that last spot. But, Texas, Oklahoma, those 2 are legit that can fall. And then I guess you got to hope and pray that Pitt maybe knocks off Notre Dame this weekend to get them out of there. And if that's the case, you got a shot. Obviously a better shot if you're going to have to win the Big 12 championship game against Texas Tech, but you got a shot.
How come you don't like Texas? Is it Arch or is it Sark?
You know what? I like Sark, but Sark hasn't won the big games a lot of times in his career. Arch has gotten better as the season gone along. And Texas just is one of those schools is that they just – when it comes to the big game, they always just find a way to just not get it done. And so I'm kind of maybe going on the tradition of that more so than how they are right now. But I would be surprised if Texas, can win out with these next 2 really difficult games because they just haven't seemed to show it over the years, particularly as Sark as coach.
In the NFL, we're getting a little changing at the guard here in the AFC. For so long, it's been the Chiefs, it's been the Bills, it's been the Ravens.
The Jets.
Stop. Stop.
And
don't even get me started.
The Bills are 6.
Pee-wee football teams have better offenses than the Jets. Do you understand that? Like, our quarterback can't throw the ball more than 5 yards down the field. Like, it's okay. Anyway, sorry. Okay, go ahead, TJ. Sorry to interrupt.
The Bills are 6-3. They're playing Tampa Bay, who's 6-3. I mean, if the Bills lose, they're 6-4. It's media. They've already lost to the Patriots. They'd be 2 games down. I mean, if they lose this game, they look like a okay but fairly mediocre wild card team through 10 games. And the Chiefs are sitting in the same place. I mean, they're 2 games behind the Broncos in division. If they lose in Denver, they'll be 3 games down.
I know.
Is it really the changing of the guard here, or the cream rises to the top? It's a long season. Calm down. Stop overreacting.
I think it's a combo. Like, I mean, look at the Patriots. They're 9-2, but they really haven't beaten anybody besides, I think, Tampa Bay is their best win.
The Bills in Buffalo.
Well, in Buffalo, okay, they beat the Bills. All right, but because you're right, the Bills are up and down, so they got 2 quality wins on their schedule. Part of it is scheduling and getting it at the right times. Part of it is parity, because there's so much of it now in this league. It's a week-by-week league. Like, you can't predict. I mean, nobody thought the Dolphins were going to beat the Bills last week. It's getting strange, you know. But I think it's what the NFL wants. They want the very good. They want everybody to have a shot, and we're seeing it. It seems like everybody but the Jets. It seems like in the Browns. And then I guess you could put the Titans in the mix there too right now. But it's a week-by-week league, man, and no game. You can't overlook it. I think it's honestly starting to become it's kind of like NCAA hoops in a way. It's like who's playing the best once you get to the tournament, and I think that's what we're having with the NFL too. Like I think you just want to endure the season and get to the dance and get to the playoffs and hope that you're healthy at that point still, hope that you're on a roll at that point, and then run the table, you know, in the playoffs and have a chance to win. And so I'm enjoying it, but it's also annoying the crap out of me as I'm trying to bet because I just can't win anything because you just never know what's going to happen. But I don't see the Chiefs losing to the Broncos unless the Broncos can finally find an offense. I do find it interesting, though, the Chiefs are playing a very meaningful game in, you know, the 10th game of the season for a change. Usually they're, you know, atop of the divisions at this point and already have dominated divisions. So, but with the Chiefs, I think, you know, they are on a down cycle a little bit, and they've had a really difficult schedule as well. So I do think scheduling is a big part of how things play out, but it's also just the talent level is you know, every team's got talent, you know, and you just never know. You can't overlook anything, and you got to be healthy, and things got to roll right. And I still love it. It's my favorite form of football, but it's a lot of parity. It seems like these days.
I would have thought Pee Wee League, since you're such an expert on the offenses in Pee Wees.
Pee Wee League, I know, man.
Well, you
could run some good Pee Wee offenses these days, man. Remember in my days when I was a quarterback, we had the T formation. You know, we had 32 dive, or you hand it to the fullback straight up the middle. I mean, that's all we have. I watch Pee Wee football now, man. They're running the spread and stuff. It's pretty impressive.
Are you gambling on the Pee Wee games, you degenerate?
No, I'm not. No, I draw the line at Pee Wee. No, I mean, you know. Yeah, fortunately, I don't do that. Yeah.
Is there a superpower though in this league, either conference? Are we gone the way?
Right now,
of that?
I would say. I mean, I don't see I can't look at one team and say they're way above everybody else. I can say right now that I think Seattle and the Rams, Seahawks and Rams, are playing a step above everybody, in my opinion, which I think makes this game on Sunday going to be really fun to watch. Darnold is playing at an out-of-control level, as is Stafford, and they both good defenses. So I would say those two right now are playing the best form of football. Because, BK, I mean, if you look at it, it's a roller coaster. Like every week it seems like there's a new team that emerges. I mean, the Colts were the hot team and then they went and lost. The Eagles, everyone was talking about them. I picked the Eagles to win the Super Bowl again. But then they've been struggling offensively and seem to be like a roller coaster every week, which still they're 7-2. I mean, I would give my left arm and leg to be 7-2 with the Jets and have no offense, but whatever. They're 7-2. So I don't think there's a superpower. Let's talk about that when we get towards the end of the season and see if there's a team that's emerged into that level. I mean, like I said, the Patriots are 9-2 on they've won 8 in a row now. But I mean, do you look at the Patriots and say, "Woo, they're so much farther above everybody"? No, I think if the Patriots match up, if they play the Seahawks or the Rams right now, I would say the Rams or the Seahawks would be the favorites. Probably with the Eagles too, if they played the Eagles. So I just don't think we have it right now. We have some really good teams, though, and that's what makes it intriguing.
You wonder if that's good for the league, and maybe the NFL is just foolproof and doesn't need that and is immune to it. Because usually when you have a dominant team, that helps the professional leagues have everybody be drawn in. Because if you have a dominant team, then you most likely have a dominant player or players.
Yeah.
But I wonder if the NFL, they really don't need that. It just open the doors and let the people in and turn on the television, and they're good to go.
Yeah, no, I think the latter point. I think the NFL now is such the sport. It's our America pastime. I mean, look what they do now. Like the NBA owned Christmas. So what did the NFL do? There's no reason why the NBA should own Christmas. We're going to take it over. And they put the games on Netflix, and they get more viewers on Netflix, people paying for it, than they get on the NBA games on the regular channels or whatnot. So, I mean, the NFL rules our sports universe right now, and they now can do whatever they want. And teams – teams can develop their own stars. I mean, you could look at most of these teams and say, wow, I'll watch that team because they have, like Patriots right now, I'll watch them because Drake May is just a stud right now. Josh Allen, I'll watch the Bills because of that. I mean, you could go down every team and say, man, they have this player, they have that player. Then add the fantasy football component to it, add gambling now involved in it as well. I think, they rule the sports universe.
Well, I guess we can leave it right there with total intergalactic domination.
Intergalactic.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Well, I hope, DJ, you get enough sleep over the weekend so you can make it to work on time on Monday. That's what I hope for you.
That's a low blow.
I know. I know. And PK, work on your dance moves. Like just the shopping cart. You ever done that before? Like the cha-cha, maybe move your feet a little bit.
Did you just say the cha-cha?
I think you did. That's what I heard, and I thought maybe I was the only one who heard it.
Okay, I wanted to verify.
Kind of like, don't make any quick moves in front of the camera. Pretend like nothing just happened.
I wish I slept late for this segment.
Yeah, right.
I don't even wear. I mean, I did not wake up this morning thinking the word cha-cha would be coming out of my mouth. Like that was not on my agenda this morning. I don't know how that happened.
All right. Well, you sleeping
you
late.
Guys are hilarious.
You sleeping late or get a nap tomorrow because that BYU game will kick off 10:15 your time. So that means like 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I know, but that's okay. I can do that. The Jets don't play on Sunday now, so I don't have to wake up early at 1 o'clock.
Get up for that Commanders and Dolphins game from Madrid.
Oh, yeah, which is ridiculous. I mean, again, why are we playing in Madrid? Money. Again, back to my point,
Money.
The NFL taking over the world.
The answer to all your questions is money.
Well, I know that. And again, what annoys me is when you play these international games, the most excited these fans get is when the little field goal kicker goes out and kicks the ball. They don't even appreciate the true moments of our sport. You know what I mean? So
I've actually read stories about this and that people walk around the crowd and all that there's a lot of Americans living abroad, and that's a big portion of the audience. As people are like, I get to see an NFL football game.
Isn't most of Hollywood living abroad now?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. They left our country. That's right. Good point.
They're at CFL games.
Oh, man. All right, gents. Love you guys. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Kevin. He's Kevin Graham. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Everything you missed on this show next. Stay with us.
It's game week for the Cougars, and the KSL Sports Zone is getting you ready for kickoff. Even after their first loss of the season, the Cougars' dream of a spot in the Big 12 title game is still alive and well as they welcome TCU to Provo on Saturday. Listen all week long for the best coverage of Cougar football. Then catch College Football Saturday game day at 10 a.m. with a postgame show immediately following the game on KSLSports.com. Your home for the best coverage of BYU football is live on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Slacker Radio headlines are brought to you by Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan Wealth today, your local trusted financial fiduciary. Call them at 801-210-6800 or visit their website at TrajanWealth.com. Ready for some college football tomorrow, PK?
Oh, yeah, right at 10 o'clock.
Kicking it off with Notre Dame and Pitt. See if a berth opens up in the BCS, in the college football playoff rankings.
Both 10 o'clocks. A.M. and P.M.
There will be football from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. BYU ought to be at halftime at 10 p.m.
And I'll be watching. Yeah, absolutely. There's big games at 10 o'clock in the morning. So there's just no question about that.
Arizona, Cincinnati, with BYU playing Cincinnati.
Yeah.
A week from now, Arizona, Cincinnati's 10 a.m. on FS1.
Arizona's got a little upstart program. Can they knock off the, what are they, the Bearcats?
That's exactly who they are.
You already mentioned Notre Dame, Pittsburgh, Kansas State, Oklahoma State. Obviously, we expect Kansas State to win, but they come into Rice-Eccles next week. So, yeah, I'm all over it, literally all day.
There are games all day long. Enjoy them all. Michigan, can they win out and get in the playoffs and vault from way down? Now, winning out means beating Ohio State in the rivalry game. They have Northwestern along the way. That's at Wrigley Field tomorrow. I saw Northwestern play Illinois there a few years ago, and the way they had the field laid out, they only ran offense like right to left on TV. The field went from like third base to right field because of the brick wall in the outfield, the end zone, there wasn't much space.
Uh-huh.
You know, if the team's driving and they recover a fumble at the 20, then they stop the game and they go down to the other 20. So everybody's always moving. The offenses are always moving right to left. It was a weird deal. Oklahoma, Alabama, that is a game that we have to watch at 1:30 because that will absolutely affect Utah and BYU, with Oklahoma being right in front of them at number 11 with BYU at 12 and Utah at 13.
And we were talking about this earlier. I've been to the Coliseum many times, covered many SC games over the years, and never, ever do I remember rain during the day. And the forecast for tomorrow, 100%.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the rain that's coming.
Yeah, it's supposed to be pretty.
It's there today.
So Iowa at USC?
Yeah, 1:30. They just don't do that there.
Right.
Which Iowa's thinking, yes.
It's a Big Ten Network game. Oh, yeah. Iowa doesn't want to play in some fast track with USC.
They like to play a plodding style and run the football.
Get in the mud and let's go.
So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Texas Tech plays on Big Fox at 1:30. I can't imagine that UCF is going to go into Texas Tech and win. That would be the kind of craziness that everyone screaming, I never saw it coming. College football's so crazy, because Tech got to win that game by 40.
I think Tech has already suffered their conference loss.
ASU.
And that's it. And when they had their guys. And those two guys that the Devils had are better than a lot of other guys.
There aren't many schools that are going to put together experienced quarterback, potential NFL quarterback there, and experience with obvious first-round wide receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't see them losing the rest of the way.
5 o'clock, that window's got Utah State at UNLV and Utah at Baylor, so we got plenty to watch there, although Texas at Georgia kicks off at 5:30, so two local teams and that big game going on.
Yeah. All day long.
I know.
And then throw in BYU hoop at 5 o'clock.
Yep. BYU UConn. You can watch your guy melt down.
Oh, Dan Hiller? Yeah.
Yeah.
And he tends to get heated.
Get a little fired up.
Yeah. I watched during the COVID thing, I watched the documentary on their father, the St. Anthony's coach, Bob Sr., and he would go nuts quite often. They don't even have that school anymore. My grandmother, the last several years of her life, lived with my father's brother, and it was in Jersey City. I'm very familiar with that area where they grew up.
We talked about the Utes covering in a blowout. BYU, not a blowout. TCU 6-3. They're dangerous.
I think they are.
So just don't have the letdown of the back-to-back losses. But if BYU plays their best game, they ought to win this.
What is their best game? Can you play your best game?
I'm trying to think of another word that would fit. I mean, yes, you can play your best game, whatever you're at the end. We can look back and say that was the best they played.
Well, but is that your best game? That was the best you played, and is that your best game? That can be two different things.
It could be.
I think they need to do what they've been doing, save last week, and then they should be okay. I think that's where I would go with that. But who knows, man? You know, these games now, at least from the mental standpoint, they take on a lot of pressure, which ultimately that's what pressure is. It is more mental than physical. And so how are they going to respond? Because they don't have wiggle room. They use their mulligan. How do they respond? That's what's going to be real interesting. And Tech here is just looking to ruin things. You know, they suffered a very devastating loss
TCU.
last week. Did I say TCU? Tech.
Yeah.
TCU suffered a very devastating loss last week.
They're 3-3 now.
But they still have a chance to go 6-3, which is
6-3 and 9-3.
It's not bad.
It is not bad. It's absolutely not.
So, and that's, I mean, you don't accumulate the wins before you actually get them, obviously, but that's the way I look at it. Unless you're, you know, if you're like an Oklahoma State or a team that just isn't prepared to be able to do that, that's one thing. But these teams that have 2 or 3 losses right now, they should be thinking along those lines of however many games you got left.
TCU's best win so far in conference is Baylor. I mean, West Virginia and Colorado. But they lost to ASU, lost to K-State, lost to Iowa State. And I don't know if they can play woulda, coulda, shoulda with K-State. I didn't see that game, and it was 13 points.
Well, they could with ASU because they're up 17-0.
They could with ASU, and they could with Iowa State. They're sitting there at 3-3 thinking we could be 5-1. We could be right there in the middle of this.
Right.
What are we doing?
And how does that affect your psyche, and how do you respond? I always felt this was an extremely dangerous team.
This is still in the stretch of games that we identified as this is just a brutal stretch, and we find out who they are.
Well, that stretch was elongated.
From 4 to 5 because of Cincinnati.
Arizona.
Okay.
You needed OT.
Yep. And Arizona, like TCU, is 6-3 and 3-3.
And they should be thinking the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah, that's got to be your mindset. And you're not going to get into the conference final, but so what? I mean, that's the goal, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't mean like it's a wasted season by any stretch. Yeah. I totally believe that. And these teams, if you only have 2 or 3 losses at this point, in my mind, you're a good team.
Well, TCU finishes with BYU and Houston and Cincinnati, so that's quite the run. They can have a big say on who ends up with 2 losses and a potential tiebreaker.
Very much so, yeah. And that you could take a level of satisfaction on that. And you're always building. It never stops.
We talked a little NFL with Kevin Graham. A lot of big games this weekend that look like massive games on paper. 7-2 Seattle against the 7-2 Rams. First place in the division on the line there. Chiefs and Broncos. Lions and Eagles Sunday night. Looks like a really good game. So plenty of options there. Plus, you never know what will just turn out to be a good game. Oh, Bucks-Bills. I left that one out. That's another good game. So,
all right. So, speaking of NFL games.
Yes.
When we were making our picks, you sped me up, PK, so thank you for this. Just kidding.
Okay.
I actually picked Green Bay earlier on in the season, so I can't take
Cheater!
Cheater! Hey, I'm acknowledging it now rather than coming back on Monday.
No, you sped it up, sped it up because you allowed these two last question guy over here to get in with Locke, and then we go longer than we need.
You think I have control over that?
You have control over me.
How did that speed him up? That gave him more time to get it right while Locke was talking about the NBA.
No, he needs to pay attention. We can only do that.
I do give you guys some lead time. You know
right,
this.
But when you say we wrap it up, I'm done.
Sometimes.
Always. Always.
All right, so I am... Always pulling back the curtain.
The mirror is pointed right at you, big guy.
Oh, I've definitely done it. I did it today. I'll plead guilty.
Again, I respond with the word always.
You're the one lying to the people.
Not true.
Team that's starting to really heat up, obviously, is getting healthy. I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens to smash the Cleveland Browns.
Ravens over the Browns. Ravens have won 3 in a row. Game back to the Steelers.
They're heating up.
Could be the first 1-5 team to start 1-5 and win a division. I don't think that's been done. All right, DJ and PK, when we come back, your feedback next, including poll questions running today. You can go to Twitter, David DJ James, and vote who's winning this weekend. Utes, Cougars, Aggies. We got the polls up. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Join Jake and Ben Tuesday from 10 to noon at Belliston Jewelry in Ogden, 1155 36th Street. Belliston Jewelry, locally made just for you, cherished for generations.
Sweet.
Time for your feedback. Chewbacca, is it just me, or does David Locke always sound like he's running a marathon, biking a Park City trail, or skiing the slopes when he's on air with DJ and PK? Treadmill, maybe? Does he do treadmill while he talks to us?
He has joined us from the Park City Mountain Resort. I'm telling you, I know where he's been. He's joined us when he's been on mountain bike rides. So, yeah, it happens.
I'm just grateful he joins us.
Who's going to win the big games? Does BYU bounce back? 71% of you think BYU is going to win and cover that 4.5-point spread. Overall, 84% of you expect them to win.
Okay, yeah.
Very few believers in TCU.
I think I expect them to win. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
That's off about 172 votes there. For the Utes, pretty much the same numbers. 83% think they'll win. 63 of them think that they'll cover that 9.5.
I think they will too. A discussion
Utes
not
by
for
double
now,
digits.
but a discussion down the road is when will they lose again?
Well, I guess we'd have to see the bowl opponent and who's playing in the bowl. That would always a key.
Yeah, well, that's assuming they're in a bowl.
Aha! If they're in the Big 12 title game, I skipped over that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Will Utah State be bowl eligible Sunday morning? 51% believe yes. Obviously, 49% no. 31% think UNLV is going to cover a 6.5-point spread.
Yeah, that's a huge game for the Eggs. If they get this win, success, because the schedule is tough down the stretch here. So this is a winnable game, but back to what you were saying about BYU, I think I could argue that they're going to have to play their best game of the season.
CBS Sports Network tomorrow at 5. Scotty G on the air here on The Zone.
Are we sure about that? Because he had Scotty G on basketball.
Aha! Scotty G will clone himself.
What is he? Somebody's dog? Tom Brady's dog.
Tom Brady's dog. Scotty G is Tom Brady's dog. Let's remember to tell him that, okay? Petty Ute fan here. It's coming. He's photoshopped Mark Harlan's. You've all seen the GIF where the guy's sitting at the table and there's the sign, "Change My Mind." And he put in a 2-loss Utah team will be ranked higher than a 1-loss BYU team. And he's got Mark Harlan's head on the person sitting behind the table.
I don't think Mark Harlan is going to have much influence on that one.
We'll see if they get there. If they can win out and go a combined 6-0, that's even a question.
Oh, as far as what?
Well, for Utah to be 2-loss and
the
BYU
playoff,
to be 1.
that's where they're will be ranked higher. What ranking are you talking about? Next week or the final one? Where are we going?
The final one, the one that matters.
Is that what he's talking about?
I assume that's what he's talking about. He doesn't put a date on it, but yeah. I mean, the truth is, if BYU finishes with 1 loss, well, then they've won 4 in a row. I assume he's talking 11-1.
I don't see that Utah jumping them at that point.
I wouldn't think so. If BYU has a better record and the head-to-head win, I don't see why Utah would jump them.
Are we talking the conference game, the final, or not? Or are we just talking the regular season?
I'm talking 12-game regular season. I don't know what that he's talking.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, if they win the 13th game in the conference title game, then they're in automatically, and nobody's jumping anybody. That was your point earlier. You think they'll be number 8. There'll be enough chaos in front. It It isn't clear where the chaos will happen in front, but there's just so many games to play. There's got to be some chaos, doesn't there?
Yes.
Something unexpected.
Well, you've got a lot of good teams playing good teams. And that may not. Somebody's going to win. Somebody's going to lose. It may not be chaos. It's just that we crown a winner every game.
That I can see moving our locals to 11 and 12.
I still believe if BYU wins out, including the automatic berth, there's just no way they're not going to get at minimum a home game. Your Mark is going to be screaming that they deserve a bye.
How does Oregon get handled if they're 10 and 2? I don't think they'll lose to Minnesota at home tonight. I mean, Minnesota's okay and upsets happen, but they're traveling. It's at odds, and it seems like Oregon will take care of business here. But then they have USC and Washington. USC at home, Washington on the road, and they certainly could lose either one of those games.
Man, they haven't beaten anybody yet.
The big win is Iowa. That's their marquee win.
I'm not so high on Oregon.
I get that, and I'm not even debating that.
Well, let's see what they do.
How will the committee handle it?
Well, I don't know, because I don't know what they're going to do. Okay. You're granting them wins that they haven't played yet.
I'm also granting them a loss they haven't played yet. I'm having them go 2-1 in the last 3. Oregon 11-1 is in, even with the schedule. Anybody at 11-1 will be in, yes. But at 10-2, maybe they drop and the locals could catch them. Anything else you'd like to tell the people about today's show? This is it. Final say before the weekend.
This is going to be a great opportunity to just savor college football for 12-plus hours. And I'm so fortunate and grateful that I can do it. My wife wouldn't do it anyway because she's awesome. But if it was something, hey, I'm tired of you watching college football all day, which she would never, ever, ever, ever do. I want to make that abundantly clear. All I got to do is say, this is work.
Yep.
And it is work. And wow, you're not going to find a person who has more gratitude than me that it is work. And now that we're deep into November, where there's all sorts of implications, and BYU is back in a conference, so they're not just playing East Tennessee State. Nothing against East Tennessee State. That is the alma mater of Kenny Chesney.
You just randomly picked that.
He's on a book tour. He just published a book, and so he's been doing a lot of interviews that I've been seeing about playing in bars in the area, how he got started, with the tip jar and all that stuff. So that's why I thought of it.
But Oregon State's coming off Sam Houston, and now they're playing Tulsa.
Yeah.
As an independent, essentially.
And BYU is past that, and it is just so cool. It's awesome. That I didn't want to see the Pac-12 leave, obviously, or dissolve, but one of the Bennies is having the Cougars back in the same conference with Utah, and it just matters. And to be working that remote tomorrow, it's just I'm gonna run out of batteries. I'm gonna have to go to the store.
Jake and Ben are coming up next. Have a good weekend. We'll see you Monday right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.